should work now. At last, God!
Oh my God, that's crazy. Oh my God.
Very TikTok can be funny. TikTok can be so funny. So I get
Can you hear me, by the way?
Yep.
loud and clear. Loud
I
and
see.
clear.
Okay.
So thank you so much, everyone. So let's like start all over and all over again, guys. Welcome. Today I have these two amazing people here. I have Favor Maddi and I have the evangelist. That's what I'm going to call you because that's the name that don't really in my head. So we have the evangelist here. They are a freelancer and a successful freelancer on Upwork. And I'm bringing them here today to actually discuss how we can succeed on Upwork as a beginner. And one of the issues that beginners are having, virtual assistant are having, is how to get hired on Upwork. And I've received a lot of requests saying they are stuck on Upwork. Some people have even concluded that Upwork is fake. This is that, and they've even can I say quit. And at the same time, some people are complaining, and some people are able to get jobs on Upwork. That's why I decided to host this webinar to bring both of you on this section to actually educate them, share your experience with them, and how they can actually stand out on Upwork as a beginner. So, for the first question I'm going to do right now is to have both of you introduce yourself and why, like, how did you start freelancing? Like, can I say what pushed you to start freelance? When did you know that, yes, I really, really want to work remotely, I want to be a freelancer? So I'm going to do ladies first. So
All
to
right.
you, Favor.
To be honest, I didn't start out to go into freelancing. And I think I've had this, like I've posted this video before on TikTok where I have a friend and I just realized that I was working like a full-time job. I was probably getting paid like 250,000 naira every month. And she was always inviting me out, like, let's come out, let's come out. And I'm like, how are you able to afford this? And then she told me that it was Upwork. And I thought, oh, okay, how does that work? And she said she was actually offering like virtual assistant service. So I decided to go on the platform and try myself. And that is how I got into freelancing on Upwork. Funny enough, I think I got my first client after about 3 weeks after signing up, and it was a product management role, which is what I do. So that's how I got into freelancing. And I was doing like part time and I was doing my full time job. But in October last year, the company sold their company to somebody else. So I went into full time freelancing. So that's how I got into freelancing, and that's how I got into full time freelancing.
Wow, thank you so very much. That's so insightful. And to our data evangelist, can we meet you? And why freelancing?
Uh, my story is a little bit longer, but I'll try to make it short. Um, my name is Ifelu Afale. Right? I started freelancing in 2014. Yep, 14. I was a uni student. It was in my second year, and this was how I found about freelancing. We were having this conversation with my friend, my then roommate, and a classmate of mine, and we were talking about how easy it would be to easily replace our laptops if they break down. And the name of my roommate is Wale. Wale said, "Oh well, this my laptop has made me 10x the money I used to buy it, so it will be very easy for him to replace it." Dixon said, "Yeah, it's the same thing for him." And I'm like, "You people make money with laptop?" It was strange because I also have a laptop. How do I make money? So they then said they are freelancers, and I didn't ask them because then I didn't. There was nothing I could offer. There was no service. I didn't have any skill I could offer online. Then Dixon asked me, "What can you do?" I said, "I can play the piano," because I've been playing piano for more than 10 years now. So yeah, he then said, "Well, that's not bad. You could get someone you can teach piano online, but you might want to learn something different." So I asked him, "What can I learn today, and I'll start making money tomorrow?" He then said, "No, that's not how
That's
it
it.
works."
That's the question.
Yeah. So I wanted, what can I easily learn so that I don't have to take 3 months to learn. I know that learning never stops, and the easiest way to learn is to keep doing. So he said I could learn to write. So So I took out my semester break. I went to Dixon's house for like 2 weeks. So they taught me how to write article writing, content writing, all of those things. So I signed up on freelancer.com, and that was where I started. So my first success was on freelancer.com, actually. Then back then, I don't know, Upwork was not a platform back then, because
Mm.
Upwork is a merger between two companies. I've made this video before, Elance and Odesk. Favor, you would bear me witness when you and you too, when you withdraw your money, especially if you're withdrawing through wire transfer. I don't know if you withdraw through wire transfer.
Very well.
If you check the reference, you will see that the forwarding is from Odesk.
Hmm. I
Yep.
didn't notice. I just want to
It's,
withdraw that money.
yeah, it's from Odesk. So Odesk was a freelance platform. Elance
Wow.
was a freelance platform too. So these two
Hmm.
companies came together and became Upwork. So I had an account
Wow.
with Elance, I had an account with Odesk,
Hmm.
but I wasn't doing too much. Then they merged, and so as soon as they merged, they then gave me two Upwork accounts, one as a client and one as a freelancer. But I wasn't using Upwork because I was focused on freelancer.com. So fast forward to 2020, during COVID, I was broke, and I think because I didn't think freelancing was something I would do full time, right? I think because in school I would do it. I would work during holiday because we used to have these long sessional breaks, like 3 months. So I would work, save up money, then during school time I would face my studies, and that was how I'd always. So after NYSC, there was no job. It's a long story. So I then said, wait, I used to do freelancing when I was in school. How about I make this a full time thing? How about I just start out full time? So I then went back to my Upwork account, revamped it, did everything I needed to do. Took my last, I had one last 20K that time. I went to because I was living with my parents. It was difficult for me to explain to them that you could work remotely and make money. My parents are very, very religious people, and the way they brought us up, you can't be doing anything shady. And internet fraud was a very rampant thing where I was. So there was no way I would explain to them that I'm working indoor and I'm making money. So I then went to get a shared office space. It was far away from home, but it was good. So I then get to leave the house in the morning, come back. Even though most of the work I get to do, I still would do them at home because of time difference. But coincidentally, the first day I made that decision was the first day I got my first project that I did with my phone. It was the guy just wanted someone who would um, take a screenshot of something somewhere, blah blah blah. Paid me, I think, $30 or so. So a month, 2 days after that, I got my second project. 1 or 2 weeks after that, I got my third project. That then retained me for the next 3 or 4 years. Right,
Wow.
it was like part-time thing. Then I got my fourth project that I then did off of work that I'm still working till today. I consult for the company. Then, so that is pretty much how it
Wow.
started. Then in 2022, I decided I was tired of freelancing. I was bored. I went into 9 to 5, and I did that for like a year and 10 months. But I was still doing my freelancing. But I was
Financial.
bored.
Okay.
I was bored of 9 to 5. Then I quit. Then I left Nigeria in 2024. End of 24. Went back into freelancing full time until May of 2024. Then I'm back at a 9 to 5
Like,
in
you
in
keep going,
London.
you keep coming back.
Yeah, I just like the flex. So I get bored. I want to see
Yeah.
people. Then just
Mm,
yeah.
yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing. I understand at times working remotely can feel so boring. Like you just need to, socialize with people, mingle with people. Faye, how did you cope with you working remotely? Like, don't you feel bored? How are you able to cope with
I get
it?
I get bored a lot. Like even my full-time job before I joined Upwork was a fully remote job in Nigeria. The office was in
Oh,
Lagos, and they had like another office here in Port Harcourt. And it was so boring that there were weeks on end when I would just go to a coffee shop and walk out of a coffee shop. So
wow.
even now, it can get really boring because I live. But yes, yes, to answer your question, it gets really boring. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you so very much. So to me, how did I start my freelancing journey? Honestly, I don't want to. I don't even know that someone can work remotely. I don't know, but I I'm very good with computer because my mom used to be a typist. And you know all this mother by fire by force, you must learn what they are doing. So I was very fast in typing. So then I learned computer and everything. So then I met my boyfriend, obviously now my husband, and he saw the potential in me. And his friend used to be a freelancer. So he told me, he said his friend used to work from home, and then I used to be a graphic designer. I know website designer. I know how to design website and graphics then. So he said, why didn't I try Fiverr? That was what he was even saying. I was like, what is Fiverr? Like I don't even understand what remote work is all about. Like I don't have any idea about what remote work is. So he introduced me to the guy, and the guy said, oh, this is that, this is what working from home means and everything. And despite the fact that he told me that he want me to do this, I don't want to do that because my passion is to be a lecturer. And you know when you want to do something, another person is saying, "Come and do this." So there was a clash of interest. Like, Alaye, is it because we are dating? That's why you now want to change my future. But later, he pushed me into it. I always tell people it wasn't I didn't have that intention to be a remote worker, but I was forced into it, and I enjoy doing it, even though I struggled to land my first client. But when I did, like this evangelist said, then I was because I'm in Ibadan, but then I was still working in one company in Ibadan, and I was earning 35,000 naira. That's how ridiculous the payment is around 2017, 2018 session. So when I got home, I got my first client. It was even a $5 per hour job, and I was supposed to work for them for just 4 hours per day, 20 hours per week, and that's $100 per week. That's $400 per month. So I calculated everything, and I realized that. So you mean if I work for 3 hours a day, I've already gotten the money that you guys are paying me for a month. So I go home and I told my mom that, Mom, I'm not going to work again, and she was like, "What with me? What happened? Why will you say you want to quit? I said, Mommy, I'm not a remote worker. She said, Kilonje remote worker. What is the meaning of remote worker? So I had to explain to her, like, Mom, this is what it is. You work for clients abroad, they pay you in dollars. This is like a normal office space, but you work remotely. That was the only reason that made her, I was able to explain to her and let her know why this is even much more better than the 9 to 5 work that I'm doing. So I can say that being pushed, I was pushed to this remote work of a thing. So guys, that is how I started my freelancing journey, and that's what I've been doing till date. Like I've not gone back to my 9 to 5. And I'm not even sure I want to do, but maybe when I travel out of the country, like data evangelist, maybe I want to try it. So guys, that is how I started my own freelancing journey. And since everybody already explained why they chose Upwork, because I chose Upwork because someone told me that Fiverr, but I knew Fiverr would not work for me. Up till now, I can't really tell you guys like this is the reason why I said Fiverr will not work for me. But back then I realized that Fiverr is just like a shop. You create like this your storefront and you wait for people to come to you. But why I chose Upwork was because I could see all the job posting and I can, apply to them. So that was actually what motivated me to choose Upwork. Unlike Fiverr, that I will just wait and start revamping. Some people tell you to buy this thing and buy that, but I don't really understand it. That's why I just say, you know what, let me just choose Upwork. And Upwork has been working before I now get remote jobs in other websites. LinkedIn, Simply Hired, and Flex Jobs. So basically. So now, guys, having said that and introducing ourselves, how we started our freelancing journey and why we chose Upwork, this evangelist and favor, one of the questions that newbies are now asking now is that how can they succeed on Upwork? Because they believe that Upwork used to be easy when we started our own journey, but now it's much more competitive. In fact, some people have said that Upwork is a scam, like they've tried, they've wasted connect, they've done everything they need to do, but it is still not working for them. So, is there a way you can actually share with us your tricks to landing clients on Upwork as a freelancer? So, this evangelist, do you want to go first?
First of all, I like to correct that notion that states that Upwork there was a time Upwork was easy. The reality is that there has never been any time that Upwork was easy, and I can empirically prove it. You see, when in the early days of freelancing and freelance platforms like Upwork, remote work was not a common thing. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
have businesses, people wanting people to work remotely. So that means that there were fewer jobs. So there has always been fewer jobs than the number of people that are looking for jobs. So in the early days of Upwork, it was also very tough. And
Mm-hmm.
I know we have you can see the glamour. I can show you, oh, I'm a top rated plus freelancer. I've made this amount of money as a freelancer. But what a lot of people don't see are some of the failures, some of the ghosting, some of the. I have some people in a private community that I mentor, and I get this complaint. And one of the things I ask them generally is, how many proposals have you written? Then they'll come, I've written 10 proposals, 5, 15, and I then show them my archive of proposals. I've written over 300 proposals. So, so I mean, for you before you can complain that Upwork is not working, I know the process has never been Connect has never been cheap. It has never been free. But I just think that people just want instant gratification. They want to start it and then get results immediately, and it doesn't work that way. It was 2 days ago. I was walking a lady through the average time it takes me to land a project from interview stage to then to that point where a client then says, okay, now we are happy with you, then send you a contract. Sometimes it can take 2 months. You are having conversation, you are talking to. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but in my own experience, it's only about once or twice that I've had. I would not lie because there was a particular proposal I wrote, and the client just sent me a contract straight. There was no conversation, there was no chat. The response to that proposal was a contract, but it doesn't happen that way all the time. That's just like 1 out of 1,000.
1 million.
Yeah.
1 million.
So I've had periods where I've had extensive conversation with the client for weeks. Then after like a month or 2 months, they'll say, okay, we're ready to proceed with you. So even some people that have gotten past or getting their proposals viewed, getting interviews, they're still anxious, worried about, oh, this person has ghosted me. What should I do? I'm worried. So that there are lots of stages. So first of all, just to clear that myth that Upwork was easy during our time, it was. I don't think it was that it was easy. I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I just think
It wasn't easy.
it wasn't
It
easy. It was
wasn't.
never
It
easy. It
wasn't.
was
For
if it
me,
was
it
easy.
was.
If it was easy, I wouldn't have an archive of over 300 proposals, right? So yeah, so that's one. Number two is that there are no tricks per se, or yeah, there are tips. There are no tricks. The trick here is that do the right thing. Most people. So what one of the things I was doing, I was showing some of my followers the back end, what a client sees. So
Mm,
I think if you have an understanding of what a client sees when you send out a proposal, maybe that then
mm,
informs how you approach your proposal. So then show them. See,
mm,
when a client posts a job, the first
mm,
thing the client will see when you send out your proposal is they'll see your picture, a
mm.
brief detail about you. Just beside that, your professional headline, all of those things. Just beside that, some of your earnings, a lot of
Yeah,
other
it's over
information.
there. Yeah.
Then at the tail end of that list, you then have the first 4 lines of your proposals. So the first 4 lines of your proposal, whatever it is you're writing, is what the client will see. Every
Mm-hmm.
other thing is going to be truncated. So what I tell people is that see, whatever it is you are writing, make sure that what is in your first 4 line is catchy, is interesting enough that the client wants to read more because there is that button that says read more.
With
So
more.
if I see people writing proposal, hello, my name is this, you've wasted a lot of space introducing yourself.
I'm a graduate of.
The client can already see who you are. The client can already see your name, see everything. You don't need to start your proposal introducing yourself. It's a waste of time. That proposal will most likely not be viewed. I mean, I've written proposals like that in the past. I would not write, and that maybe that's why I have long list of bad proposals out there in my archive. But the point is, you want to. I tell people, go straight to the point. I mean, the real convincing, the real conversation, the real expression will happen in the chat. The whole point of your
Mm,
proposal is to bring the client into your DM. You want to make sure that you can then be able to have that conversation because if the client does not, if they've not sent you an invite and the client did not explicitly click that button to send you a message, then you're not getting any conversation. So, three things. The trick for me, if there's any, go straight to the point. either by first of all throwing your portfolio at their faces in the first
Mm.
four line. Find a way to just, if you have a portfolio somewhere, portfolio link, just go straight to, hey, check out my portfolio. That's one strategy. Number two is that you can go straight into demonstrating to the client that you've gone through the project description. Because one of the things that a lot of people don't do, and most clients know that people don't do it, is that they know that people don't read. So sometimes clients put some salient information in their description and tell you, oh, start your proposal with dog or something
With
like
this
that.
word.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but outside of that, you want to immediately let the client know that, see, I've gone through this project description and I understand that second step. I understand that you need regurgitate whatever it is the client has given to you, give it back to them. I need some sort of. So first thing you're telling the client that, say, I've gone through what you've written. Second step is I understand what you need. Then go straight to how you are the best person for that. So that way the client then, oh, there's more information about this person, and they then click to read more. The third method would be, which is some this third strategy is something that should exist in all your proposal anyways, but it's just how you choose to start it. So you should always make sure that you're asking a question. A lot of people don't understand that the point of your proposal is to trigger a reaction, and the reaction is a chat. So most of the time, your call to actions are always at the end of the proposals, which the client may never see, anyways.
Mm.
So, but if you have a question, this is from my extensive experience working with very high level people, white people, West people in the Western world. These people like when you ask questions. I've never seen, I don't know, when you ask question, they tell you they love it. They want to answer that question. So one
Mm.
is probably because when you ask them question, they are probably thinking that, maybe there's something I'm not communicating properly, so they want to
Mm.
explain further, or maybe something is wrong somewhere, and they don't like to be, they don't want, communication is a big deal
Mm.
with these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't like to, if not communicate effectively. So find them for every project. There will always be something you can ask. There will
That's
always be something you can ask. So sometimes
mm.
your strategy can be throw a first question at them. Oh, I've just something about the, maybe something is not clear about the project.
Just
Just
to
ask.
trigger the conversation, even to click
Yes,
on read more. Yeah.
yes. So the
Mm.
moment you ask like that, you are setting a trap for them to come to your DM. The moment they come to your DM, you can send anything. So
Mm.
have a mindset shift that your proposal is meant to get you a job. No, the proposal in itself, intrinsically, is not meant to get you the job. The proposal
Mm.
is designed to get you a conversation.
Mm. Mm.
What will get you the job is the conversation. You can have amazing proposals that will not do anything. The point of a
Mm.
proposal, based on the design of Upwork, is to get you a conversation. So start rewriting or revamping your thought process, how you write your proposal, with the mindset that, oh, this is just to get me this person's attention. As long once I have their attention, then I can then convince them further to give me this job. So
Mm.
for me, I think that would be, if you understand that very well, to be honest, you'll be
Mhm.
fine.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yep,
Mhm. Thank you so very much. This is very, very like to ensure that the proposal actually spark a conversation. That is
yep,
the goal of the proposal. Then
yep,
you can now like convince them more why they should hire you when you're having that conversation.
yep.
Somebody should write that down for me, or somebody should just write that down for me. I'm learning new things today. So to you, favor, come and share with us. Queen.
Um, okay, so this is the thing. I will first start with like answering not questions, but just saying like giving answers to some of the things you said earlier. And then I will talk about how I've been able to get this far on Upwork. Was Upwork easier when I joined it? The truth is that it was, right? And let me explain. So when I first joined, every month I was getting like 80 connects for free, right? And then you could
Hmm.
apply to jobs using 2 to 5 connects easily. And there was no option to actually boost your profile. But then now in 2025, you only get 10 connects for free.
Mm.
And even though the price of connects have remained the same, to be able to apply to a job, you will see jobs being posted, and what it requires connect wise is like between 17 to 30 connects per job. And then even when you apply to that job, there is the option to boost, which means that there are people who will spend all their money on connect so that they can boost the profile, leaving you who doesn't really have much money to spend at a disadvantage. Then the second thing I would say is that the job market right now, especially in tech, is a mess. Whether you're in the US, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Germany. And this is both corporate and freelance. The job market right now is a mess. And I'm saying this because like I'm currently job hunting, if just because there's a series I'm running on my page where I'm currently like looking for full-time employment for my own reasons. And what you realize is that what gets you into the door is the number game. When to look for jobs, you have to play the number game. How many applications can you send out? So while Data Evangelist was talking, I had to look at my Upwork page, and I'm looking at it right now. In total, I've sent out 448 proposals. Do you know what that
I want
is?
to go and check my
Between
own now.
2022
Let
July
me go and check
and
my
now.
own too. Oh
And
my
so like
god.
that tells you, and imagine then like if you were sending out proposals for like 10 connects, let's assume that that's 10 connects
Mm.
throughout. So that's about what, 44,800. Then you want to
Oh
multiply
yeah.
that by how much I have spent. So that's money. And the difference here is that it's easy to say, oh, play the number game on LinkedIn, play the number game somewhere else because you're not using money to
Mm.
actually apply for that job.
Mm. Mm.
But then when you say
Mm.
play the number game on Upwork, that's a lot of
It
money
is
that you're
madness.
going to spend.
Mm.
Yes. So that said, I would say that what has brought me this far is persistence and consistency. I accept my privilege. Like when I first joined Upwork, I was living in a family house. My parents are not Dangote, but then like we're not hungry. So I wasn't paying rent and I wasn't feeding myself. And out of my
Mm.
250,000 naira monthly, I could cough out 100K in 2022 confidently and put it into connects every month. That's what I used to do before I got my full time. Sorry, like before I got a gig on Upwork.
Wow.
And I'm saying that
Wow.
to say that when you come into Upwork, and I have a video like shot last week that will be going up on my page this week, you have to bring in strategy, right?
Yeah.
How do you want to apply? You know, everybody knows at this point that Upwork to apply to job requires connects, and that connects will cost you money. So coming to somebody's DM and claiming like, oh, it's so expensive, like now that's old story. You need to be able to strategize and figure out how do you do this. So over time, what I've done is, and I think I put this down here, what I've done is figure out a strategy that works for me. So I try not to apply to clients that their payments are not verified. I try not to apply to jobs that have more than 50 applications. But then I say that, but there's also the option where it's like you may have over 50 applications, but if the client has spent over $1 million, then I know that that client is a reasonable client. I know that client has money to spend. Then I begin to ask myself, do I want to throw in connects and boost my proposal? And then I try not to bother myself with clients who have like they've spent maybe 10K and they've been there since 2022 or 2012, sorry. It's like, I don't know, like don't waste my time so I
Yeah.
don't waste your time. So there are different ways to go about this, but you have to be able to strategize. And while you're strategizing, you need to tell yourself, like, you know what, I'm going to continue to show up every day, no matter the outcome. I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to show up all the time. I'm going to apply. I'm going to figure out a way, like, yes, connects are expensive, but this is how much I'm going to put on Upwork on a monthly basis that I can afford. And the moment it runs out, relax, go back, take a break, go online, watch new things, learn new things about how to write cover letters, about how to write proposals, about how to look for clients, and all of that. Another thing that a lot of us do not take into consideration is the skill and the service that we're offering. Um, a service or a skill can be in demand generally, but is it in demand on Upwork? So what you should do is you need to go to like the search button and search for the skill that you're offering. How often does that job, like does that kind of job, like how often is it posted? And the reason is that there is demand and supply. So if there is no demand and you're out here willing to supply and there's no demand on Upwork, the truth is going to be really, really hard for you to get a job because nobody's actually posting that job, and it doesn't matter how good you are, you're never going to get it. All of this said, all of this said, I will say the first thing you want to do is find a skill that is in demand and is in demand on
Mm.
Upwork. When you create your account, go to the talent section, search for that skill or that service that you're offering. See how
Mm.
other people have positioned their accounts.
Themselves. Mm.
Yes, see how good they are doing. So typically, I will just search and then I will filter by top rated or expert because those are the people that I want to emulate. That's how I want my account to
Yeah,
be.
I'm
And then I
listening.
see like how have they really positioned themselves? What is their title? What went into them putting that title? How is the overview page? What went into that? What kind of jobs are they looking for? Sometime
Mm.
in 2023, when I first moved out of my family house, I paid rent, I bought furniture, like I was a baller. And then it hit me like, gosh, I'm getting broke. And I
Bolas.
was so desperate that I'm a product manager, right? And then I started offering like virtual assistant service on Upwork. Why was that? Because there was a period on Upwork where getting project management and product management jobs in 2023 between January and I think July or so was really, really hard.
Mm.
And coming here to say like, oh, okay, the thing is, there were not many people were even posting that job to start with. Jobs that had to do with product management or project management that time. And I don't have the data for that. Maybe you will, I don't know. But then it
Mm.
picked up again in November, like after November. And what I'm saying is be able to adjust, be able to adapt. Look into yourself. What are your soft skills? So me,
Mm.
a soft skill for me is that I can easily be an administrative assistant. I can easily offer that. I can easily offer technical writing services. These are things that come freely to me as a product manager. I can easily set up a task management tool for a company as far as like holding over 1,000 employees, and I will set up the systems and do automations and all of that. So if one thing doesn't work, look into yourself. What other soft skills do I have? Not just any
That will
soft
work.
skills, soft skills that are in demand on Upwork.
Mm.
So my strategy is I apply agile to my life. If this is not working, I ask myself why. What did I do wrong? How can I get better? And then I begin to figure out ways. So I've talked about how to position yourself by driving, like by getting inspiration from other jobs. I've talked about the kind of jobs that I apply to, and I've also tried to validate everybody's concern about is Upwork challenging? How is the job market? And then I've also said like your skills are really, really important. And if you feel like your skills are not in demand, look into your soft skills. So
Mm.
yes, that's what I can say there.
Thank you so very much, Faye. Thank you so very much. This is very, very insightful. And if you had to actually ask me for myself, when I was starting out, it wasn't easy for me. It actually took me 6 months before I landed my first client. And then I was doing this on my own. Then we didn't really have like mentors now, like having data evangelists, having you favor coming out to talk about Upwork, talking about remote work, what works for you and everything. So I was struggling on my own until my fiancé and my husband now introduced me to that person. And within 2 weeks, I was able to land my first remote job. And my very first remote job, I didn't apply to it. I got it through invite jobs only, when clients invite you to actually submit a proposal. And the client didn't even interview me, like Data Evangelist said. And I think that was the only job I got that I didn't get interviewed. It was my very first job. Other jobs, they will even interview you like three, four times before they decide on who they actually want to hire. And one thing that I've actually been working for me, I've been working with over 30 clients on Upwork now, is that, like you said, I will never ever apply to jobs that the payment is not verified. Like, why do I even want to apply to you in the first place? And if you are making like, let's say, $1,000, you just spend it, or 2,000, I don't really like see like somebody that I really want to work with. Another thing I do is that I try to read their history. There are some clients that they'll hire somebody. You've hired someone since 2024, and this is March or April, and you've only paid that person like $200 or 300. That means that if you hire me, I may not even have anything to do for you for the next 4 or 5 months. It's just when you needed me, that's when. So I don't even want to waste that precious connect on that type of jobs. So that's why I always take my time. And there are some jobs also that their location, can I say, I don't know how to put that word. Like you can apply to it if you're in certain location, like it's actually for Americans or maybe you're in Germany or something. They always put it like that. I don't want to waste my time applying to that type of job. And one of the tricks that have actually helped me again is I try to apply to jobs at midnight. And when did I know that that thing used to work for me was when I lost my full time job, my full time remote job. That job actually took me away from poverty. I need to be honest, turned me to a millionaire, and now I'm losing that job. You know how the person that can be. So during that time, I wasn't able to sleep. I thought I would develop heart attack. In fact, that kind of a thing when you lose that job that actually give you a lot of money. So at midnight, I don't sleep. Like if you're looking for money, why will you even sleep? So I started applying to jobs at midnight, and within 3 days, 4 days, I do get jobs because then it's all Australia, that would be morning their time and that would be evening Eastern time, so it actually works for me. And I try to apply to jobs that just, let's say, they only have like 15 to 20, 20 to 50. But as a top rated freelancers or plus that we are right now, when I see 50 plus job, I want to apply. Like, yeah, everybody, what are you guys saying? I can pull my head because I know that yes, I have what it takes to actually you know compete with you guys. Unlike newbies that you are yet to make any money on Upwork, you don't want to compete with over 50 plus people. That's why I always advise them, like as a newbie, try to apply to jobs that their proposal is less. Let's say between 5 to 10, 10 to 20, even 20 to 50. Because there are some clients that they might not even read all the 50 proposals. They will just choose the first 10, see the one that works and just choose from them. And like I said, little proposal. And another thing that data evangelist said all the time is another thing that I realized that most newbies are doing, the mistakes they're making right now is not paying attention to details. There are some clients that after the job description and everything, they'll tell you that for me to understand that you've read this so far, include the word orange in your first proposals. Some people don't read to the very end. And there was even times that I even make that mistake. Maybe I tried to draft a proposal on Upwork and I'm trying to use maybe AI to fix my grammar and everything. AI will not remember to put that orange word. And I've made that mistake, I think twice. So then I used to take my time, like, yes, I know you've helped me to do this. Now let me include that the client is requesting. And another thing is the admin part, because I'm a virtual admin. Data evangelist, there are some clients that they will tell you to actually record yourself, like 1 minute or 2 minute videos explaining why you're a good fit. Some people are always shy to actually do that, but I know that I'm actually looking for a job. So I want to do everything possible to ensure that I give the clients what they are looking for. That will actually give me an edge to actually spark that conversation that you made mention. Then we can now talk on how I can help you. And your proposal should be straight to the point. I always try to avoid any repetition or anything. My first paragraph has always been tailored to the client, not even me. My first paragraph is talking about how I can help them. And then the body will talk about my skills, all the things I can offer, and call to action. And like I learned from you today, like they might not even get to read to the very bottom. Then the first paragraph should spark a question. But my own approach has always been to talk about how I can help that client solve that problem at that particular point in time. Do you get what I'm saying, Diamond? So that has actually been my own approach when it comes to getting jobs on Upwork. But one thing about newbies right now is that Nigeria is hard. Nigeria like is very very hard. So not everybody can actually can I say they want to purchase that connect. So they find it very ridiculous that they need to pay. Some people come to my DM and say, "What for Momo? They said I need to pay to apply to jobs." I was like, they are not asking you to pay. They're asking you to buy connect. Don't mix the two together. And I think for you to buy 100 connect is like $15. That's around 25,000 naira. And I always tell them if you can subscribe for data per month, then you should be able to actually cough out some money. And for you to actually go into full time virtual assistant or remote work, even on Upwork, if you have your 9 to 5 job, don't quit it because you are looking for a remote job. Just be looking for a remote job while you're doing your 9 to 5. Then you can actually transition if that actually works for you. So that's actually my own, can I say, tips, like you said, not tricks, on landing remote jobs on Upwork. Is there anything you want to add to it, Data Evangelist?
Yeah, I wanted to validate what you said about timing. I mean,
Mm.
I've said this a lot of times before, and I think I made a video about it explaining to people the reason why you stand a chance at getting more jobs between 11 p.m. Nigerian time and 3 4 a.m. Nigerian time.
Yeah, we can jump on.
Outside of the fact that, let me do a bit of dingy dangling. Going to Favor's point around strategy, you need a strategy. It's very, very important. Strategy
Mm,
around where do you want to get jobs from. So
mm,
you are not just randomly applying to projects. Now, so for me, I don't know. I'm very, very picky. I'm very specific. So I have a list of countries where I'm applying to jobs from.
mm.
So if as a client you are not from that country, I'm not, no matter how good that
The
project
offer
can be,
is.
I'm not applying. It's out of my strategy. There was a
Mm,
time I didn't make mistake with my strategy. This lady was an Indian lady, but her location was in the location that I liked, and I had a problem with
mm,
her at some point. But that's out of the point. So now going to the timing, the reason why midnight Nigerian time is works is because the people that you are competing with, they are sleeping at that point, at that time too.
mhm,
So you have very less competition.
mm,
So of course, coupled with the fact that this is an active time period in those countries, so it's really just about competing. I used to tell my students that you don't see hunters going. I don't know how it works, but you don't see people
mm.
going to hunt during the day. So you have to treat job hunting and like actual hunting literally on Upwork. So you want to be more active, and that's why it's easy to then download the app. You can really apply on the go, and so the time it takes you to apply is very important. But another thing that a lot of people do that amounts to waste of connect, and this we favor would also bear me witness. It amounts to waste of connect is that we just look at the jobs and validate the jobs based on so many metrics, but we don't pay attention to a particular metrics that we should be paying attention to. It's not the number. I mean, all of these metrics are very, very important, but there's a particular metrics that we tend to overlook a bit. It's a red flag if a job has been posted for 5 6 7 hours and there's no activity going on that project. It's a very big red flag because if a client is serious, because the way Upwork works, as soon as I've posted a lot of projects on Upwork, I've hired a lot of people on Upwork. As soon as they are posting that project, you are seeing proposals. So there has to be some. So if a job has been posted for 3 4 hours, I'm not applying. I'm not, because it's a sign that, yeah, because the connect. So the whole point, if connect were free, if connect were, I mean, we would not be having this conversation. Just
mm,
play the numbers game. But connects are
mm.
not free, and that's why there's a need to then put in all of these measures, all of these strategies, and all. Most of the jobs that I've gotten in Upwork, I got them in the midnight. I'm not even joking,
Mm.
literally in the midnight. So,
Me too.
say I'm writing a proposal around 11 p.m., 12 a.m., 1 a.m. Then I just send the proposal. I'll go to sleep. The following morning, I'm seeing a message from the client. They've
Mm,
responded to the proposal. So, but the ones that I sent during the day, I would say most of them amounted to a waste, to be honest.
yeah. Someone was even saying it in the comment section that during the daytime it works for her. You know what works for him might actually not work for me. And I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that applying midnight works for me until I was in that situation. Because me applying to jobs at night wasn't something that I want to. But because of that can I say desperation, that fear, like, God, how am I going to start my life all over again? That's why I started applying to jobs midnight. Then I realized that, oh, I think this works for me. So people will say morning works for them, but most times I've seen virtual start saying or freelancers saying that midnight works for them as well. Because we're not applying to Nigerian jobs, we are applying to jobs from different countries.
Yeah.
So at that midnight, I think there's a thing about it. So, favor, is there any challenges you've actually faced as a beginner on Upwork, and how are you able to overcome them, and how can you advise newbies that are starting out, because we have majority of them here that they've already started working on Upwork, but they just started, and what they can learn from it.
Okay, so my Upwork journey is very unique in that I got my first two clients after like 2 weeks, so I didn't really struggle. Although those clients ended up like one ended up ghosting me after giving me a pet project where they were going to pay me money to select whether I would get a job or not. And then the other one, I rejected it because I looked at the amount of work and I looked at the money and I just thought, you know what, no. And I think by the third week, I got my first client. And even if my profile had $10 per hour, he paid me $35 per hour to work 40 hours. Like, even when I don't work up to 40 hours, he begins to ask me, like, oh, what's happening? Didn't you do anything today? And it's like, I didn't do anything. Do you want me to take your money? um, yeah, so I didn't struggle on Upwork until after a year later. And I struggled, and I think I mentioned this earlier, in that the service that I'm offering, for some reason, during that period, I could people were not posting for those jobs. So in a week, project management, product management jobs went from being posted like maybe 100, in a week to maybe like 20, 25. So it was really, really hard for me to secure one. And during that period, that's where I looked inward and started like reading much about like soft skills and trying to find out what soft skills do I have. So I like to say like soft skills are skills that make up your big skills. So as a virtual assistant, and I'm using that because I feel like that's what there are a lot of people here that would want to lean into that. A soft skill could be like email management, calendar management, data entry. It doesn't take away from you being a virtual assistant, but that's a soft skill. As a project manager, a soft skill for me would be that I know how to create a Gantt chart. I know how to set up Jira. I know how to set up ClickUp, right? As a product manager, a soft skill for me could be that I know how to do user research and I know how to do market research. So during that challenging period, there was no kind of job that I did not take because I needed to get that money and I needed my account to stay active, even though I had a full-time job. So I would say that that's my first challenge on Upwork. And generally, is there any challenge that I've faced? No, I mean, I've had like clients that gave me bad reviews. I think one that made my score drop, and then I had to go and delete the review because I had like a top rated freelance badge, although that function is no longer there. Um, I've had, I don't know, like I cannot sit here and say like my journey has been so hard.
Yeah,
Like these are the only challenges that I've had, to be
yeah,
honest. And that's how I was able
yeah. So
to navigate those.
yeah, thank you so very much for sharing this. And to you, Ifeoluwa, what advice and what are the challenges?
I like to, I like, I mean, I think Favor is trying to be humble, and it's fine. It's fine
What will you say?
because if you think about it, you've written 400 proposals. That is a
Hmm,
big challenge.
challenge on its
It's
own too.
do this experiment. If
Hmm,
you take your time and do this experiment, anyone you have a large community, ask the
hmm,
people that are asking you questions how many proposals they've written. I promise you, you hardly find someone who has written up to 30 proposals.
hmm.
People that are coming to complain that Upwork is hard. these all of these things, you would hardly find someone who has written up to 30 proposals. I promise you, do the experiment.
Hmm.
Just ask.
Hmm.
And I'm saying this because I have asked time and time again, and you see people come.
Hmm.
I've written 10, 5. After 5 proposals, 10 proposals, you are complaining.
Hmm.
So
That's true.
it's a big challenge that you have to do that amount of numbers. I've done
Hmm.
it. I know that it's not easy. Imagine turning out proposals, right? And when Upwork was the thing, when I started Upwork, there was nothing like, even though I don't really particularly recommend ChatGPT. There was nothing like ChatGPT to help you write proposals. So you have to write your
Hmm.
proposals every
In your
single
own
time.
words, yeah. Hmm.
And then if it has to make sense, you cannot write proposal somewhere and copy it somewhere and then you would fail woefully. So that
Hmm.
really just to let people know that Favor is trying to be
I know
humble.
that. Yeah.
It's a lot of
Favor.
work, right?
The Lord. The
Yeah.
Lord.
So for me, I would say that the big challenge would be the fear and anxiety that comes with the fact that nothing is promised as a freelancer. You see, you could
Hmm.
have, and this is something that people don't talk about often. We've, I mean, the economy is bad in itself, and anything goes. But the reality is that once you once you get into the system, that fear would kick in because you don't have any form of protection. I mean, like when you have a nine
Hmm.
to five, all this employee protection, no. So they could reach out to you tomorrow and end your contract, and then nothing is promised. So for me, what I did to mitigate that was to be intentional about the kind of project. I mean, I don't like going to look for project on Upwork all the time. I promise you. So I'm always looking out for long-term projects. So I don't go for fixed projects as such, not because I don't like it, but fixed project is almost synonymous to one off.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I go
Hmm.
for hourly projects because they potentially will promise more long term. And one thing I
Hmm.
have that would also really validate what Favor is saying, soft skill. One thing I have as a soft skill is relationship building. Trust me. And I know this because I
Hmm.
turned a project that was supposed to be a one-off project to a project that lasted 4 years.
Hmm.
So building relationship with the client is more important than the project in itself. So the story here was that I started working with this client, and one of the things I started to do was to start researching his business, his niche, some of
Hmm.
the started to suggest some of the things that he could that was outside of what he hired me to do. How about you
Hmm.
do this? This is how you can grow your business. I've been working on this, blah blah. I was doing all of those, and he got very
Hmm.
interested. And he then asked me to to send him my CV.
Hmm.
So I sent him my CV. Then hold on a minute. Then randomly after like 2 weeks, he said, "Oh, he saw on my CV that I could do something." Then he said he has a project around that skill set. That would I be interested? I'm like, "Yeah, sure, bring it on." And he brought it, and that was how a, a job that was supposed to pay me one off, then paid me over $20,000 just because I was able to build a relationship. I was able to go above. This is not just about he hired me to do a few writings here and there. Then I started to a point where I became almost like a second in command in the business.
Hmm.
We then would do meetings every week, stand-ups, and it then became a job.
Hmm.
Yeah, so relationship. But then the challenging part is that even at that, the client can wake up tomorrow and then there was this girl that reached out to me and said, "Oh, there's this client has been the client ghosted her according to her, and she was worried." And I said, "See, these people are human beings too. Anything could have happened. Don't give
Hmm.
yourself, don't stress over a client not responding to you. The client could have died."
Hmm.
I was just being
Yeah,
Do you get?
instead of it, let's be honest. It might be going
It's
through
true.
something very serious
so I said,
and
life.
doesn't even care about this thing.
Yeah, so I'm like, just chill. if it is meant to be, it's going to be eventually. So,
Be.
but what you can do, what is within your capacity to do. If you have to then send a follow up message, do. But then don't get yourself all worked up. Go. Don't treat one job on Upwork because you're a freelancer. Nobody would hire you and tell you, "Oh, you have to work for me alone." They already understand
Mm.
that.
Yes,
So it
yes,
works.
yes.
It works both ways. They also know that you can wake up one morning and tell a client that, "Oh, you have a better offer somewhere," and ask
Mm-hmm.
for more money, and they are unable to pay you. So, so that I think that's the challenge. Nothing is promised, and
Mm.
you would agree with me. A lot of freelancers that they are always
Mm.
looking. Everyone is looking for security to a large
Mm.
extent. It took me working outside of freelancing to then realize that there's no job security anywhere. Oh.
Mm.
There's no job
Mm.
security anywhere.
Mm.
It just feels good to be on a constant payroll, knowing fully well that
Mm.
whatever happens, you get paid at the end of the month.
End of the
Coming in on a
month.
monthly basis. Yeah.
But with freelancing, some months you can be making some crazy amount of money, and other months you are making zero. That's
Mm.
another thing that is a challenge because even when you're winning, you're not so happy because you know that this thing is not. but but then yeah,
Mm.
that's it.
Oh my God, this is so powerful, honestly. Thank you so very much for sharing. And I'm going to start with the job security of a thing. When I was starting out, I didn't understand that there is no job security in remote work. I believe that because I'm making that money, it should just go like that. Because after I landed my first, yes, that was my idea. Like, oh, remote work, $1 million. I'm not a big girl, that kind of a thing. And then I started part time. I got the first one November, and February 14, yeah, Valentine's Day, I got my first full time job. And then I was earning around 2,200 USD back then, and I was very very happy. But then I was working in a toxic environment. That is my own story. I saw the red flag, but I ignored it. Some freelancers will leave review for clients on Upwork. I read it. I saw what they're saying about the client. But there was money, and Nigeria, as long as I give me my money, if you like, call me names. I don't care. Just give me that money. And one day, this client woke up. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't say maybe she's bad because I could have actually contributed to the reason why she said now you need to go. And then I was down. I was frustrated. I needed another job. And one of the mistake I made then was that I wasn't looking for another job. I solely rely on that client because I was making money. That was around, let's say, 2 million, 2.2 million then. There is no job in Nigeria that will give me that money. I was a big girl. But like any small thing, and that kind of lifestyle now. I don't have any responsibility back then. Then I lost that job, and that actually opened my eyes to so many things. And there was this particular client as well. Okay, let me say this. I don't like fixed price jobs for any reason. I want a long term job. I don't like it for any reason. Two things. Number one, I know that if I work for you now, like in the next 2, 3 days, then everything is done. Just pay me and let me go. That's the type of job. And number two, fixed price job, if I'm not very careful, some clients can actually request for a refund. And Upwork will not hear from your side. Upwork will refund them that money. Unlike hourly job that there is an evidence, your tracker with screenshots, and you can say, oh yes, this is my activities, this is what I did and everything. But with fixed price jobs, I'm always very, very careful about it. So that's why I always advise, even if it is part-time job or full-time job, it is something. And I love working with companies more than individuals. I've worked with individuals in the past, and I know how it is. Like I learned the hard way. Like I faced a lot of challenges, maybe because I've always had it rough, so I understand how this thing works. There was this particular client that I was very, very close with. We were friends. With even the closeness got to a stage whereby we were calling ourselves. Every single your clients calling you, "Hey, bitch, how are you?" Like that's the kind of relationship we had. Everything was going on smoothly, and life happens to her. Life happens to her. She has this paralysis, cerebral paralysis, and she had to. I didn't know, I wasn't aware, and she woke up one day and accused me of theft, and I was like, "Hey, babe, what's going on? Like, what happened?" She was all over the place. I'm going to use police arrest. I'm going to do. I was like, "No problem. Just call whoever you want to call." But later, before her mom now called, like, "Hey, you know what? This is what's going on with my daughter. Blah 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 blah." and that job was paying me $15 per hour. Then I was making a lot of money. Because of that situation, she quit. Like even when she came back, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this again. But if it is a company, I've worked with a company before that I had to let them, even myself, let them go because the stress was just too much. But as a freelancer, I've learned the hard way to always try to work with companies. There's a bit of security with it than you working with individuals. If you're working with individuals, they can actually wake up one day. Number one, maybe due to budget, they were like, you know what? I think I can just do this myself. I can't afford to pay you anymore. Come and be going. Number two might be like even as individuals, I'm actually fuck up and I'll be like, you know what? I like come and carry your load and go. But for companies that are dealing with several clients or several customers, for them to even let you go, you will see the sign because they know that your role you need to actually. I don't know if I'm making sense. Like they know that you have some things you need to work on. Even if they want to let you go, they will give you notice like, hey, I like you know what, we're giving you like 2 3 weeks. But as a remote worker, like I said, nothing is promised. But I'll still prefer working with a company than working with individual person. That is like my own with my experience so far with all the challenges I've faced. That's one thing. And the relationship building that you talked about, data evangelist, I've done that in the past. The one I did actually caused a lot of problem for me because if I have not, can I say, over being over friendly with that person, maybe that still finish will not come. Like even trying to come out and say that maybe you want to accuse me of theft or something. But I knew that it wasn't her fault, it was due to our situation. But I could have just set some boundaries in that. But there's some relationship that when we're talking about relationship, we're not just talking about being friends with that person. We're talking about the value you're actually able to bring to that company, the value that person is seeing. I've worked with a particular client before, like it was a short time project, and she referred me to another job. And it was just a travel planning job because I plan travels. And I was able to just plan 3 trips, and I got around $2,500. And I was able to just plan within 2 weeks. And it was through referral. She was even the one that negotiated the price. Like, hey, this is it. I think this girl can work with this amount of
After
money.
this call, you send money to my account, bah?
No, I'm just saying, like, you're a big man. I'm not in UK. Why are you
Because
like
you are
this?
calling big figures, like is
That was there. That was there. No, I'm talking about the challenges. Like, I'm looking. Favor has more money than me. Favor is no. I can't even talk when Favor is talking. Favor is a millionaire.
Ah,
Look at her. See how fresh she is. Look at me. So
please,
many challenges that
please.
so I actually learned the hard way. That's why I said for me, I cannot work with individuals again unless I know that this is actually a short-term project, but I want to work more for companies, and that give me a little bit, not full security, but a little bit of security. And I've worked with companies that I've worked with them for like 2 years. There's this particular one I'm working on full time now. I've been there for like 3 years now and counting. But I know that at the end of the month, something is coming. But one thing about remote work is that I work hourly. So what I earn this month might not be what I earn the following month. It actually varies. It might be short, it might be higher the next month. So basically, that's actually my own experience. I had it rough, several issues, but this is me standing strong. Like nothing they happen again. If you come, fine. If there's no job, I still live. But most of my jobs have been on Upwork. Like I've been on Upwork. So that is my own challenges. So, Mr. Ifeoluwa, what advice are you giving us as newbies that we're just starting up? I know you said a lot, but what are the things? What are that? What is that? Can I say? Can you motivate them? What is that thing you want to tell them? What is your advice for them?
so. I think what will motivate everybody, just so to speak. One thing that is unique, that stand out
Mm,
in all our stories is that something pushed us. So for you, it was struggle. You
mm,
lost your job and all of those things. For Favor, it was also just something within, right? For me,
mm,
it was the same. Forget about the first part of the story about how I got into freelancing. The real struggle for me, the real motivating factor for me was finishing NYC, no job. I had to go back to my parents' house, and it was either I needed to do something. So that was the all the motivation I needed to then get things started. So I think this is going to be very individual specific, right? Again, I'm the firstborn. I'm the first son. I know that I
That's a lot.
so naturally I am motivated by default.
Naturally, you must pay our bills, brother. I
So
get.
that's one. Number two is that for me, I'm a sucker for knowledge. What I would tell anyone is that even right now with how I feel quite comfortable with where I am professionally, but if you see the way I learn, God, you will think that something is pursuing me. I'm practically studying every day. The reason for that is because as if I mean, right now I'm not heavily into Upwork. I still currently have some projects ongoing that I'm not actively doing, right? Uh, but I am always learning, always learning. And what that does for you is that it helps you to always adjust. So just back to Favor's point around learning to switch, you can wake up tomorrow and the skill set you have is no longer lucrative.
Hmm.
How quickly are you able to switch and start something else without
Hmm.
having to start from scratch? So you I can do there's almost nothing I cannot do.
Hmm.
I can tell you that for free. As long as I have YouTube, as long as there
Hmm.
is Google, bring it, I'll do it. And but then I don't just wait until that time comes for you to then ask me to do it. I'm actively always preparing to do stuff that is outside of my comfort zone. So as freelancers, everyone one thing you know is that you have a lot of time, free time. So don't think that a time is free. Get yourself
Hmm.
busy. And another thing I will say is that people want instant gratification. It does not work like that. I mean, we will. Some people will be lucky. Some people will get lucky.
Hmm.
You would open your
Hmm.
Upwork account today and you get your
Hmm.
first job, but
Of
it's
course.
not going to be the case for everybody.
Hmm.
You need to learn to stick around for the longest amount of time. I used to tell people that I've been on Upwork as a platform for about 10 years, and I
Hmm.
didn't get my breakthrough on Upwork, even though I've been doing well on other freelance platform until 2020, middle of 2020, towards the end of 2020. So for 5 years, I was on Upwork as a platform, nothing. But I didn't give up on the platform. I didn't say, "Oh, this is it. I'm done." Because again, I don't know. You just need to have a tough skin. If you stick around long enough, soon enough, something will happen. Even if you are not using this strategy, you are not using any of this. If you play
Hmm.
the numbers
Hmm.
game and
Hmm.
do
Hmm.
there's this law of large numbers in statistics. Even if you don't involve any strategy and you're just there, you only need to be there for a reasonable amount of time. Something will happen. You might get. I've had a situation where someone hired me to do copy and paste, literally copy and paste.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
There are ridiculous projects like that
Ridiculous
on Upwork.
project.
And but then if you don't stick around, if you don't wait, I treat Upwork back then. I think this is another thing that I would say. I treat Upwork like my regular social media account platform.
Hmm.
So as much as I would log into Facebook, Instagram, I was also logging into Upwork. So I don't
Hmm.
know. It just felt like to me I use it as a social media, literally. So that's how I then get to see all those. I've done so many ridiculous projects too. That would just be one of. There was a project that I did. The guy said he was looking for someone who will use ChatGPT to generate 100 articles. I mean, it's insane. He could just
Hmm.
write the prompt
Do
himself,
it himself. Yes.
but he was looking for someone who will write the prompt. And I'm like,
Hmm.
hmm. So I looked at the project and I'm like, okay. I then said, guess what? You see this proposal that I'm sending to you? I generated it with ChatGPT. I then
Hmm.
sent it to him. He replied me with a contract.
Wow.
Yep, he responded to me. So I think he paid me. I think I can't remember. Was it $100 or $200 for something I did
Yes.
under 15,
Yeah.
30 minutes? So stick around
More.
long enough, you would see for, and if you must, if you must, you can work with your friends that you know that are, do your SWOT analysis. I used to say that, know your strengths, your weaknesses, and see if you're not willing to. I mean, I would say 100% work on your weaknesses. But if you know that it's going to take you a lot of time, look for someone who is strong where you're weak, and then see how you can make the most of your strengths together. So there was a time I literally recommended to one of my guys, see, you know how to do this job, but you suck at selling yourself, and it's been a struggle for you. How about you get someone who is a good salesperson? They will do the whole proposal writing for you, putting you out there, and when they get the job, they don't know how to do the job. You do the job, define a sharing balance, a sharing formula, and that work. So there are lots of strategies. There's no one hard coded rule somewhere. Just
Yeah.
look inward and see what works for you. And don't be too shy, too timid, too intimidated to ask questions. A lot of people like myself, yourself, Eva, we are coming out to then share our experiences and literally come go live every weekend and literally review people's profiles, proposals, tell them what
Yeah.
to do, and in just by doing that, in a matter of weeks, people are coming. They've gotten their. There was a guy that comes. There's a guy that comes to my live video and say he's been on Upwork for so many years, and in just a space of 2 weeks that he got to know me, he's made $1,000 plus on Upwork. 2 weeks,
Imagine. They only
just
need that guide. That
yeah,
guide.
yeah. So look out for, and don't be too, if even if you have to pay for something, I don't charge people to teach them, but the reality is that I think it would be fair to charge people if because I've paid the price. So let's
Yeah.
assume I didn't tell you, oh, yeah, I've made all of these mistakes, so you don't have to make it. I've written 300 plus proposals. If I knew what I know today, my numbers would be way, way less than that in terms
Wait.
of,
Yeah.
because my success rate would then move from 2% or 1% to 10%, 15%. So, which means that for every 10 proposals you write, the ideal thing, if you do things right, for every 10 proposals you write, you should typically be able to get one job. If you look at that win rate. So, but then you can write 50, 100 proposals and nothing will show. But yeah, I think I've said a lot.
Thank you so very much, Italia. Thank you so very much. Over to your favor. What advice do you want me to go with
Okay.
today?
Uh, so I wanted to just like hammer a bit on what Data Evangelist said earlier when he talked about life not being wicked, not to reward you. That is something that I take like every day. I wake up and I just tell myself that I know that Nigeria has its own special problems, but I'm 100% sure, and my life is evident in the fact that if you show up every day for something, life or the universe will reward you. Like, it's not that mean, it's not that wicked. What happens is that most of us, when we're almost getting there, and obviously you will not know that you're almost getting there, you give up. And so that takes away from you reaching your own potential. So I put down a few things here that I just wanted to talk about. The first one is that like Upwork is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a marketplace. It's a job marketplace, and so you have to treat it almost the same way as you would treat it other marketplaces. The only difference is that there is both inbound and outbound calls, in that you can see the jobs ahead of time as they're posted. I mean, compared to Fiverr, where people will reach out to you, and you have the opportunity to stand out, to pitch yourself, to market yourself to that client. There's also the option of selling like your projects on the project catalog. There's also the option of optimizing your profile so that it ranks in a way that you just sit back and clients begin to send you invitations. So treat Upwork as a job marketplace. Don't treat it as like, oh, Favor said she made 45,000 in 2 years. Oh, that means you can make really quick money. You know, somebody has come to like calculate the money I've made in my DM one time, And I said, are you taking into consideration that in 2022 dollar was like what 300? So like
Yeah.
don't think that I'm sitting here on, I don't know, like 40 something million naira just sitting in my account. Guys, come on.
Yes.
It's not
Oh,
a
I can understand favor. My feelings will be like, oh, look at that money. See me, you have money. I'll be like, hey, that's which money? Where do you? I've been living.
like it's not like, even if like you cannot compare the exchange rates, guys, please let's be serious. So it's not a get rich quick scheme, right? It's a place for you to go and show that you can perform, because some of you, a lot of you just make a lot of noise like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and then when you're actually hired to do it, it's crickets. You can't. So there's that. The second one is that you need to show up consistently. So persevere, okay? It's hard for everybody. Don't think that favor is so special. I don't know, like persevere. You've heard the challenges that I talked about, that data evangelist talked about, that one we talked about. So persevere, no matter how hard it is. Tell yourself, like, you know what? I'm going to continue to show up. I'm not going to give up, because if favor can do it, I can do it. If data evangelist can do it, I can do it. If mommy can do it, I can do it. So these are things. In fact, I said there are times when, and like I will talk about this next, look for somebody's profile that you think is doing really well. The money I'm calling is small. The day that I sat up and I told myself, Upwork is me and you, I went on Upwork and I saw there's a Nigerian in Ekiti, that has made like 200K. There's somebody in Ilorin that has made 180 something K. And this boy, like there are two, their money just keeps climbing. And I've told myself, you know what? They don't need to come out here and make much noise. But I know that the data on Upwork profiles don't lie. And because they don't lie, it just means that if they can do it, I can do it. So find somebody's profile, wake up every morning. As you wake up, go on Upwork, go to the talents place, search their name, look at it, and then tap your chest and say, I'm going to get here. And that's motivation enough for
That
you. I'm telling
motivates
you,
you.
to keep going. And then create a strategy. I have like a video on YouTube about like freelancing and how to go into it. And the section I talk the most about is strategy. Create a strategy. Strategy here is both in how are you going to get connects? How are you going to pay for these connects? How often are you going to pay? If out of your salary you can bring out 25K every month, don't worry about what we're saying, like, oh, I used to put $45 every week. Don't worry about that. Put your 25,000 naira connects and make sure that you apply strategically. And when the money finishes, don't go and borrow. Wait until the next month when you can put in another 25K. So be strategic on how you want to get clients. How do you want to optimize your profile? Like I said, go to people who are doing well, see how they position themselves, see what is on their profile, see the kind of jobs that they are applying for. The reason I knew that, oh, I could go and apply for executive assistant jobs or technical writing jobs was because I was looking at people who had product manager, project manager on their profile, but their in progress jobs were not all project manager. They were taking advantage of their soft skills. They were doing technical writing jobs, virtual assistant jobs. And I'm like, hold up a minute, I can do this. So when you see a job post that you know 100% or even 90% that it may not be my job title, because to be honest, even in the corporate world, they tell you that job titles are really just that. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
If you can do it, go ahead and do it. If you can do it and you have proof that you can do it, apply to that. So have a strategy. The next one I wrote here was show up regardless, and I think I've said that before because it cannot be said enough. Continue to show up. Finally, is have money that you are not using. You need to accept. You need to accept that. Don't. So many times I have people in my DM telling me, Upwork is saying I have to pay. Is it a scam? And it's like, maybe because I'm a product manager, I don't have a problem with paying. There is something in my place where they say, like, you use money to find money, right?
Find money.
And this goes into business. People who you see in the market who are selling goods. Upwork is a marketplace. It goes into that. Like, if you want to, Invest. I look at Connect as an investment in myself.
Mm.
I also know that as a product manager, when you look at businesses, a business has to strive, a business has to stand out. I'm sorry, how else do you want Upwork to make money? They have
Mm.
people who are building these websites, they have people who are maintaining it, who are continuously upgrading it, they have product managers, they have this, they have that. How else do you want them to make money? They can make money, yes, through the wire transfers, through like remittance and all that, but still it's a marketplace, it is somebody's business. So don't overthink it, right? Just ask yourself, even if it's 30K that you're being paid, and I know how that sounds, I almost sound
Mm.
insensitive here considering the economy, but even
Mm.
if it's 5,000 naira that you can bring out every month and just say like, you know what, I'm going to throw this in here, do it. So have spare money that you're not using, because the truth is that for the most part you need money to apply to jobs on Upwork. Not many people are as lucky to know how to optimize and position themselves in a way that invitations come. So you need money to apply jobs. Accept it. Tell yourself every day that it's money, they're not scamming me. Accept it and look for a way to make sure that you have like spare cash. And that is as realistic an advice that I can give, honestly. Like that's that for me.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Favor, and thank you for everyone for sharing this strategy. I think you guys have said most things I actually want to cover today. But one thing I'm going to just add to this, like my advice to newbies, is that you see that money you're going to spend on Connect, by the time you land that first job, even if it is a $5 job, you won't remember that struggle that you've struggled. You won't even remember you spent that money on Connect because it's going to worth it at the long run. And there's particular thing, data evangelist that I actually want you to actually shed more light on. Because when we were starting out, people used to talk about buying of reviews on Upwork to actually stand out. And I've seen you've made a video about it, like the review and everything. And I'm wondering if you are able to share, shed more light to this thing so that even me myself can actually learn. Because when I was starting out, so many people tried to buy that review and Upwork suspend their accounts because some people are just so, can I say, I don't want to use the word careless, but they're not very careful. You were trying to buy review for yourself and use your card to do it. So Upwork suspected and they blocked their account. And when I saw your video about this, like I've heard a lot of things about that review of a thing, but I'm wondering if you can actually shed more light and how people can, like, what's your view about it? Let me just put it that way. Maybe that can actually enlighten me the more about it.
Well, I don't like to see it as buying of review, right?
Okay.
Um, you see, the the marketplace, and let's be realistic, it's not a fair playing ground. If you look at it from, if you let's be very political, right? And it works both ways. We've been talking about our own strategies. One of the strategies that I have, that I know that Favor has, that I know that you use, is that we are picky. So if a client is on Upwork and is new and they've not spent any money, you will not apply to their jobs. I will not apply.
Mm,
Favor will not apply.
mm,
And I think is also a similar scenario with freelancers when they apply to jobs and they are new, they don't have any job history on the platform, regardless of whatever it is regardless of how beautiful they've said or how much they've optimized their profile. I think that stigma is there where, oh, you don't have any job on the platform. So your chances of getting your first job is very slim. Now, this is not me asking people to buy, review, or be dubious, right? If you've worked for someone offline before, right, or you are really good, but then you just want to get that out of the way. So you're not getting jobs on Upwork, and you want to make sure that you're not thinking it's because I've not gotten a previous job on the platform. That's why I'm not getting job. Right. So if you can get someone who will sign up on the platform as a client, so this is not you signing up as a client and giving yourself job. No, that's insane,
mm-hmm.
right? So for example, I've given people their first projects just just to let, because the reality is Upwork does not. Upwork does not really care. Because if I post a project on Upwork, do you know how much Upwork charge me to post projects? In some
Really?
cases, you don't know. Upwork will charge you 10% of the project fee. Then there's an initiation fee, blah 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 blah. So on a
Wow.
$100 project, Upwork will take $10 plus from the
From the
client.
clients.
Yes, Upwork will then take obviously 10% from the freelancer. So Upwork is collecting money both ways. So it don't,
Wow.
so don't assume, don't think Upwork cares. Really. They just want to make their money. But then it's absolutely insane to then not be reasonable, or a situation where you are partnering with someone. You're saying, oh, you give me job, I'll give you job. No, no.
Hmm.
So if anyone is giving you, if you're getting someone to give you your first project on the platform, there will never be any scenario where you are also giving them a project.
Hmm.
So, and this is really just to help people that are just starting out and they are struggling, because the truth is that as a new person on the platform, you will struggle.
Hmm.
The stigma is there. You don't have any
Hmm.
job history on the. I mean, I'm not talking about having a good portfolio off the platform, or even if you've already succeeded. I mean, this guy that I told you made over $1,000 in 2 weeks is an absolute big person. He's so big on Fiverr that he makes so much money on Fiverr, but he couldn't just crack that Upwork
Upward.
code. He was struggling with it big time. So it has nothing to do with your skills. It has nothing to do with your ability to deliver. It's just what it is. You don't have any job history, and people would most likely not look at your side as such. So I then tell people, get someone to do your first project. So I'm not telling people to buy reviews. No.
Okay, maybe I must have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get technically it is what it is. It's
Mm-hmm.
but
I
I don't
get.
like I don't like to say it that way. I don't like to say it that way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the reality is, for those that are like very close to me, I do it for them. I don't charge them. So technically they're not buying the reviews from me because I'm not charging them.
You are
The
just
only
giving
thing
them a
yeah, so
service.
the
Yeah.
only thing is the money I'll pay you on the platform is going to be your money. So you send me the money that I'm going to pay you. So I'm not
Mm.
charging you any extra money to then, because I think it's the least I can do to help you, because I have a
Mm.
client account. And low
Mm.
key, I'm also helping myself because then I'm getting this reputation as a client that has hired people,
Fair
blah blah
people.
blah. So
Mm. That's what favor means. Like you must use money to get money. That's
yeah,
that's another trade. Mm. Oh my God, guys! It has been a very impactful session. I've learned a lot. And one of the things I'm learning today is the review of a thing. Thank you for the clarification. And also to spark conversations. I learned that from you. And favor, you are telling us to use money to get money. You need to get that money for connect to be able to apply to jobs. So favor is telling us today, like you must use money to find money or to get money, whatever. Yoruba will say, oh, like man, wow, wow. I'm not sure if you understand Yoruba favor, but that is what it is. So, guys, any question for my amazing people? Any question? If you have any question, please feel free to type it in the comment section. Because I know if I bring us up, it's going to be very, very rowdy. I'm not sure what to do that. So, any question for us? People are thinking about. So, favor, data evangelist, thank you so very much, guys. Like, I really, really appreciate you guys coming up here to actually educate us more about Upwork and what has worked, and also your advice so far. It said best tip for writing proposal. I think we talked about this. Data evangelist was talking about that the proposal is just to spark a conversation, and you should ensure that you're asking questions in your first paragraph. Where can I get a clue to write my proposal? I think we need to talk more about proposal and data evangelist. People are asking about it. That's their question.
so the proposal, I think the proposal on Upwork is not. I think people think is such a big deal.
Mm,
I've worked as a business development person before, and I understand. I know what actual proposal from a business context looks like.
Hmm.
But the it's called proposal on Upwork, but technically it's just like cover letter. It's just like bid. It's really
Hmm.
not that serious. So every proposal is unique. There's no
Hmm.
two proposal that will be the same because a
Hmm.
proposal has to be tailored to the job description.
Some
So
people
how
use
you
one proposal to apply to several jobs. They have that.
and that's the problem.
That's another thing.
Yeah. So one thing that I think people should learn to do generally is learn to write, learn to be able to express yourself in words. Because if you, for me, I think it was easy because I started my career as a writer. So writing, cooking up an actual cover letter was not difficult.
Hmm.
And you see, when you again, I've what the client sees is all that matters. And I
Hmm.
wish I can share my screen, but no, I can't because my I have a lot of things running in the background. The point is on Upwork. I don't know how it works on other platform. On
Hmm.
Upwork, the first four lines of your proposals treat it as gold. So how do you what do you write in the first four lines that would motivate or that would prompt? You know how people build strategies around social media platform because people's attention spans are small. Then
Hmm.
they are talking about building having a hook, all of those things. You need to
Hmm.
start thinking about proposal on Upwork like that. So what can you do in because the people's attention span is like 3 seconds. So anything you want to do, the first 3 seconds is very important. If you think about TikTok, for example, if you are creating a video and you are putting that hook in the last part of the video, you are deceiving yourself. People, you then see
Hmm.
that most people will watch first 2 seconds of a video and they didn't watch to the end. So the same thing, the first four lines and the strategy for me is it's there are three of them. I've mentioned it. I'm just going to say it again for the sake of emphasis. Is that
Hmm.
if there's anything that you can ask, obviously every proposal you should ideally you should always be asking a question in every proposal.
Reasonable
You can
questions.
yeah, reasonable question. You can always I think one thing you should use ChatGPT more to do for proposal is to give ChatGPT the project description and ask ChatGPT, give me some very reasonable question, suggest questions that I can ask this client based on this project
This
description.
thing.
So
Hmm.
ChatGPT can then give you ideas, things you can because the point is it's not just about
Hmm.
if as a
Hmm.
project manager or product manager favor, you understand that requirement gathering has a lot to do with asking questions. Literally asking stakeholders questions, setting up meeting is all about question. Don't assume that you understand everything that the client wants just because you've read through the project description. Ask. It's, the
Hmm.
only stupid question is the one you did not ask.
Hmm.
So that can be a basis for starting your proposal sometimes. Number two is really just going straight into demonstrating that you've gone through the project description. Literally, I do. This is how I did. Say, hi there. I've gone through the project description. I understand that you need this, and this. Serious. Period. So that first four line, I'm already telling the client that I've read what you've written, and I can see that this is what you need. That way, the client then has that feeling that this person has listened to me.
Even as human, when you talk to me like that, like I understand what you're looking for. Is there a way I can?
Yes,
Then the question.
yes.
Oh, I'm going to apply to another job today.
So the third one is more of a very aggressive approach where you don't
Hmm.
have so much patience. This is really you have your portfolio somewhere. Maybe it's a website where you have list of you just want to put it straight in the first line.
Like,
Check out my portfolio here. Upwork is a link. Then they can just
hmm.
immediately they are seeing that they are clicking the link and your portfolio already would speak for you
For
much
you
more than
already.
you would be able to speak for yourself. Obviously,
Hmm.
for all of your proposal, if you have the time, always include your portfolio link. Always all of these three strategies they should one way or the other be present in every proposal you write.
Every
The only
proposal.
thing that you should always alternate is the arrangement, what you want to show first, and
Hmm.
that would be very dependent on the project description. Some clients are not if you see, and you will know clients by how they post their job description. Any client that is using AI, because Upwork allows you to then use AI to
Is there
write
high
your
tools too?
any client that is using AI to write project description, they are not patient. Forget it. So
Hmm.
those kind of clients, because a client that cannot sit down and write their own, they are not patient. But if you see clients that are very detailed,
Detail, yes.
they
They know what
will,
they're looking for.
yes, they will read. And again, lastly, read through project description. You see those salient things that clients people drop in their description to say, oh, if to show that you've read through the up to this point in this,
Several
start your
things.
proposal with. If a client says start your proposal with dog, just put dog first. Then write whatever I want to
The
write.
life
They do it, and it's because they know that people don't read.
people pay. Yeah, they lack attention to details. That's just it.
Yeah, and ultimately, see, you could do all of these things right. I'm saying this with every love I have in me to you. You could do all of these things right, and you will still not get any results. And that is where your perseverance will come in.
Hmm.
That is where sticking around, doing
Hmm.
the right thing. Because the truth is, you
Hmm.
could have the best proposal, you could have the best entry, and the client will just be an asshole. They will not end up hiring anyone. Or they already have someone
Hmm.
they want to hire, or someone else is better
Hmm.
than you. And that can be a
Hmm.
situation for a very long time where you are not the number one. So imagine a scenario where you are the number two and what they need only one person. You are good. You
Hmm.
don't.
That's all.
It's not you. It's not about you. It's not about your
Yeah.
ability. It's not
It's not.
about.
Yeah.
So you've done your best. So don't beat up yourself over doing everything right and not getting
Hmm.
results, the kind of results you're expecting. It is normal. That is where
Hmm.
you then play the numbers game, right? Then do
Hmm.
it over and over and over. Keep doing it because what can you? How better can it get? It can't get any
Hmm.
better. So just
Hmm.
keep at it, and your success is just right around the corner. Yep, that's it.
Hmm. 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 Yeah, that is true. I always tell people at times you do everything right. You apply at the right time. You do what the emergency ask you to do. You do what favor ask you. You do what I ask you to do. But at the end, you still be like, no one is seeing you. Nothing is working. And I always tell them, you never can tell. You see that proposal that you don't really care about, that you just like, you know what, let me just do this. Those are the proposals that always work. I'm like, it's just so funny. There's some process that will just be like, hey, I'm sorry what you're looking for. Are you available for a quick call? Blah, blah, blah. And that's all. Before you know, they'll be like, oh, what time do you want us to meet? I'm like, eh. Something that I'm even very lazy to even, I was just like, let me just do this thing. So I think this is very, very important. The ability to keep pushing. And there's another thing that I actually want to add, Ife and Favor. There's this particular news flying around, and I actually make my research about it on Upwork as well, and I realized it is true. You know, we have some HR specialists on Upwork as well. Like clients will pay them to actually hire people for them. So I think
Yes,
they have
enterprise
this like,
clients.
yes, exactly. They have this community. I don't know if it is on LinkedIn, maybe they are on Instagram or whatever. Like they are going to no, I'm not even talking about the agency now. Like I'm even talking about individual freelance. I know that agencies they'll be the ones to source for freelancers for the company. I'm talking about individual HR. Like the clients will be like, you know what, I want to hire a virtual assistant. They'll just be the one to help with the process. Some people even have the, can I say, the power to even select the candidates for the company. So I heard that Nigerian freelancers, we also have some in the US, but it's mostly rampant in Nigerians that whenever their client is hiring, they post it. They said most of them are on LinkedIn, Instagram. I even heard Twitter that when they are recruiting, they will let their community know that yes, my company is recruiting. They are going to help you get the job. Like, can I say, push you to that stage? You know what I'm saying? Then once you're able to get the job, they take 20% out of your earnings every month. And these people will come to Upwork Yeah, they'll come to Upwork, post jobs, screen people like normal people, but they already have who they want to hire. That's one of the things
That
flying around right now. And I'm wondering, have you ever heard such before? Because when I heard, I made my research, I saw one on Instagram. On Instagram, I saw one. When you DM them, they'll tell you they have a community on LinkedIn or on WhatsApp. And when there's a job, they'll post it. They'll help you get to that stage and they'll get 20% commission on your job, on your earnings.
that is just, first of all, that's exploitation, right? That's just
That is it.
wickedness. But it will bring me to, like, I know we're talking about proposals, and one thing because I recently started looking for like full-time employment again, and I also check on Upwork, and Upwork has like enterprise clients and all of that, where they offer you basically like Fortune 500 companies that just come pull and all. And I'm saying this to say that something I've noticed over time is when people post jobs and you see that they've sent out job invitations, don't bother applying, right?
Mm,
Because it still ties to this thing that you're saying. Some people post these jobs and they know already who they want to employ, they know already who they want to hire, and they just post
mm.
those jobs for formality. So
Come
when you
on.
see like, oh, somebody has posted a job and then they've sent out invitations already, I'm not going to bother, because in my head you already know who you want to work with. I'm not like, this is the first time I'm hearing about this, but I would just say that it's easy for me to say, I think, but what I wanted to say was, let's not get so desperate that we're willing to fall for these kind of exploitations. And I
Very,
think
very
that it is
20%. That's
something
bullshit.
that stems from like us Nigerians. Um, I don't know, honestly, I don't know. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, and I would just say that it's exploitation and it's mean. Like, it's just wickedness.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. So, anything else for us? Because I've learned a lot today. Honestly, I need to be honest.
So I just saw someone asking, what advice would you give someone that is just planning to transition into tech as a data analyst? I mean, that's a lot of things are not correct in the way you
That's the
wrote
question.
it, but
Yeah. They're asking you, you're a data analyst. So, I
yeah,
ran away from it. I used to learn data, all these, I can't even remember again. I ran away. And I hate numbers.
out my advice for everyone is, as see, if you're young, I was talking to someone recently, and I was saying that if you're in your early 20s, mid 20s, even early 30s, you can still make so many mistakes for an extra 5 years and you still be young. So I'm an advocate of trying as much as you can. Try as Because the reality is the world is actively changing. So don't be rigid. Don't stick to something just because someone has asked you to do it or you think you love it. Because at some point the world is going to move past the way the world is moving. A lot of jobs will be redundant at some point. So you have to be positioning yourself to, which was one of the reasons why I started to create content. I promise you, I didn't start creating content on TikTok because I love people. No, I am too busy for that. I promise you,
At least the
I'm
techie chef is here. Oh my god. At least, how are
so
you?
I'm very busy. So the reason why I started to create content is that I feel like, I believe that for me TikTok is one of my portfolios, right? I feel like there's a point, and we are already in that era where you need more than a CV to speak for you, or you need more than a cover letter. You want to then put yourself out there as a thought leader. And I was in London yesterday, and then I don't know what I was doing. Then a guy walked up to me and he was like, "Your face looks familiar." And I'm like,
Oh,
I don't know. He said, "Are you data evangelist?" Then I said, "Yes." He was surprised. Like, this is you? I'm like, yes, this is me. So then we started to talk and all those things. And in the last 1 week, I've been very busy. I've been very stressed. I couldn't
Mm,
post any video, and
mm,
I got the strength to then post another content yesterday. This guy told me, "I'm not following you, but I watch all your videos." I'm like,
mm, mm.
is this supposed to make me feel good?
Good. Yeah, 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 yeah.
He's
I
like,
get it. You
I'm
think
always
people don't know you, but trust me, they do.
yeah. This guy was like, I'm not following you. I'm not even going
They
to like,
do.
but I watch all your videos. So the point I'm trying to make is you have to always think, be always one step ahead of, be ready to move. So if tomorrow I know that data is going to be the reason why I'm in data, and I've always been in data for the longest amount of time. But it's because I know that this profession, this career is a very futuristic one. But
Mm,
trust me, I am a writer by excellence. I can write any kind of writing. I am good with social media. I've worked as a social media manager, and I've made some. I am a programmer. I write code. I'm a problem solver. Although all of this stem from the fact that I had a very technical background, I am a graduate of mathematics, so which makes it a little bit easy for me. But the point is, if you've seen that this is something, if it's going to challenge you, do it. It's okay to do it and
mm,
then fail. It's okay to do it and then realize,
mm.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Just
If
get
you
it
don't
out of
make
the
that
way.
mistake, you won't learn.
Yeah, just get it out of the way. Do it. So if you want
Mm,
to learn data, and as a matter of fact, I believe this is what I know. It's not just a belief. The
mm,
future of work or the future of working is that at some point, every single job would require that you know how to analyze data. That is
mm,
it. So regardless of what you are trying to do, even if you are as a project manager, you should be able to analyze data. You should be able to pull
mm,
data about, if you're managing a product, okay, your product is going to the market. You need to be able to gather some market data and then do some analysis and back whatever it is you're selling to the senior leadership team about the product with numbers.
mm,
So you shouldn't,
mm,
because the reality is that we are moving into, everyone wants to make informed decision. So and when you start to talk and you incorporate fact backed by data in your conversations, people believe you even when the facts are wrong.
mm.
They believe you.
You just need to show workings.
Yeah. So I genuinely think that, to me, I genuinely think that everyone should be a data analyst. So if you ask me, should you
Mm,
learn data analysis? Yes, 100%. Yes. Even if you don't end up working
mm.
as a data analyst,
As a data analyst.
you should be a data
Mm.
analyst by default, because technically we are all analyzing data. After this call, one of the things you will do is to look at the numbers. Oh,
Yes, the
who
numbers.
stayed for the longest, and you plan when you post videos, you go to your analytics session, you
Mm.
analyze the data. Oh, people are not watching my video to
Mm.
the end. What do I need to do? Your
To make
decision,
sure.
your decision is based on the data. So
Mm.
you're
Mm.
analyzing data. The only thing that you are not doing is you're on the consumption side of the analysis, because the analytics itself has been drawn up for you. They have shown you the
Mm.
end product. So you
Everything
are
I need to
making the decision
know.
based. So then you want to move past that into, okay, what if I have the raw data? So if I give you your TikTok raw data in an Excel spreadsheet, can you make sense of the data? Can you then draw up some important conclusion from the data? Maybe not.
Mm.
But yeah.
Mm. Thank you so very much for walking us through the data analysis niche. Our project manager or product manager, what can you say? Come and give us tips about being a product manager. Let's learn from you. We still have time. We still have
Uh, I would say like product management is not an entry level skill, and
time.
I would just want to start there because, and I wish that a lot of us who are coming into tech or who are trying to learn new skills ask ourselves, is this entry level? The reason for that is you find people who come and tell you, oh, I registered for this particular class and then I did it for a bit and it was so overwhelming and so I stopped.
Mm.
And yeah, so you see things like somebody going to learn machine learning. In my opinion, I just feel like, why don't you start from data science, data analysis, and then you grow into machine learning? So it's the same thing with product management. Why don't you start somewhere? You can start with project management, you can start with customer success, or even UX UI design, and then you grow into product management. So all of that English to say that product management is not an entry level
Entry
skill,
level.
it's not an entry level career. It is for intermediate and advanced people. Before becoming a product manager, I was a UX UI designer. I worked as a front end developer, but only like for no code tools like Webflow. I mean, there was no Webflow then, but Webflow, WordPress, Wix was what I started with. And I became a project manager and now a product manager. So this is my trajectory. So every career that I've taken before this led me up to this moment, was able to allow me take up a product management role. So know that product management is not entry level, but if it's a target for you, set a good career roadmap, a good trajectory that you can start with and then follow through to the end. So, okay, I want to become a UX UI designer today or a customer success manager, but you know that at the end of the day, my goal is product management. So these other entry level skills will build your product mindset to the point where when you get there, it's an easy breezy, right? That's the word, easy breezy job for you. It's not easy breezy, no, but if that's something that would, how do you, so product management is not a very thankful career. I feel like I'm starting with the negatives and then I will get to the positives so that you're
Positive,
prepared
yes.
mentally, right? It's not a very thankful career. If you do a good job and you push out a good product that succeeds in the market and in the hands of users and you scale it and everything, it's good for you. Rarely do they say like, oh, okay, you manage it, no problem. But then you see that the people they begin to thank are the marketers, the salespeople, the customer success people. But you were in the middle of all those people. You were in the middle of a cross-functional team, managing all that. And if a product fails, maybe because of a designer or a developer or whatever, you get the blame. So nobody will really sit here and be like, oh yeah, you've done a good job, because most times your job is hard to explain. But it's very, very rewarding. It's rewarding in that you see things from start to finish, right? You get a product as just an idea and you're able to build it into a real thing. Sometimes I think, what magic that I can pull this off, right? So somebody has an idea and you're able to build that idea into something real. And you then put it in the hands of users and put it in the market, and it does well. It's able to bring in money. It's able to fulfill desires, needs for users. So in that way, it is fulfilling. It's all fulfilling financially. In Nigeria, I don't think that they pay product managers really good, but abroad, the pay is really, really good. You see entry-level product management jobs that are taking, I don't know, like between 75K to like 100K USD annually, and that is just entry level. I know that you're hearing entry level and thinking, but you said it's not an entry level career. Hear me out. You can have 50 years as a UX UI designer, but the moment you become a product manager today, you are a junior PM. So I may have just 2 years as a project manager and I do well as a product manager, and I have 3 years in the product management space, and together you've probably been in the tech space for a bit. You're still a junior PM because there's still stuff for you to learn. You haven't built or managed enough products, enough people for you to call yourself senior anything, or for you to not be a junior something. So when we say entry level, we're not talking about skill set. We're talking about those who have gotten into product management as entry level. I'm rambling. But yes, so I have I think my very first my very first video on my page is like a pinned video about a realistic roadmap for you to follow if you want to become a product manager. And I wish that that was a resource that I had before I got into product management, because there's no kind of product management certification that I did not try, just testing my hand to see, oh, do I like this, do I not like that? So that video shows you like a realistic roadmap. And I'm also going to be like pivoting a lot of my content towards product management and less like freelancing. I mean, I will still be talking about freelancing and Upwork, but I'm just
Mm-hmm.
pivoting mostly towards product management because, like I said, I'm currently job hunting full time,
Mm.
and my reasons are because it's not like I don't think that product managers cannot excel as freelancers. It's just that freelancing, if you want to go far as a product manager. So for instance, I've always had this dream of, I want to be a VP in product, I want to be a head of product for a team, I wanted this, I wanted that. It's very hard to achieve that when you're working on short-term projects,
Okay.
right? So people just call you and say, oh, come and do this user research, come and do this, come and do that. But you find that you're not handling your own product end to end. You're just handling little areas in this. And it's not the best long term if you have a whole career roadmap, or you want to be this big as a product manager. It's not the best. And so that is my reason. It's not because like, oh, Upwork isn't working. So like, even as I'm looking for a full-time job, one of the real places where I'm looking for this job is on Upwork. I've just changed my strategy in that I no longer apply to jobs where clients have not spent like less than
Reasonable amount of
300,000,
money.
I think. Yes, so you must have spent at least
Three
300,000. That's where
300,000.
I'm telling you, because I'm looking for enterprise clients. Like, I don't want Mom, we stand up.
Wow! Oh my god!
So
I need to
I'm
level
just
up.
like I just, me personally, I want full-time employment, even if it's under Upwork. I'm also trying not
Mm.
to, if I'm going to
I
get
love
a
full
job in
time.
Nigeria, it has to be really good, like paying. So my point here is, if you're going to be a product manager, um, you have to, and then you want to couple it with like freelancing. My advice would be that focus on your soft skills, because that's where you will get more money. As a
Mm.
product manager, throughout my time on Upwork, I have only worked as a product manager, like that is the title, and those were long-term contracts. I've only had like 4 of that out of over 12 or 15 jobs that I've done, and the rest were
Okay.
either projects or technical writing or all of that. So it's not it's not I don't know. My point here though is I have a roadmap on my that's pinned on my page. You can watch that if you want to be a product manager, and you can follow my journey through, because I'll be sharing a lot
Yeah.
of that. I'm going like in depth, which is something I haven't really done before. So yeah, my advice to get into product management is the same as Upwork. It's going to be hard in the beginning, but just continue to show up. And I think it's the
To
same
show up.
like with life, just keep showing up. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so very much. Like $300,000 spent. Oh god. My head is still banging. But that's the truth, at least. For you to spend that amount of money, you must be serious whenever you want to hire somebody. You don't just come out here and just say you want to waste
Yes.
people's time. So, guys, if you want to venture into data analysis, that's my data evangelist. Product management, that is favor. So, they just share their experience in their field. And, guys, it has been so insightful. So, guys, thank you so very much. Ifeoluwa, Favor, I really appreciate. Like, I can't thank you guys enough for coming here today to share your experience with people. If I had come into your DM and you ignore me, I won't even hold you like, yeah, that's life. But you accepted me for who I am, this small girl. Favored, like both of you are just so amazing. Like I've been following you guys for a while, and when you see real, you know real people. And like you said, Favor or Ifeoluwa, Upwork data doesn't lie. Your earnings, you cannot even say you want to lie about how much you've earned. Upwork will not lie about it. And I've seen so many people come out here to even share their experience on Upwork. And let's say they've earned around, I want to say something. Even if you've earned just $100, $200 or $500 on Upwork, that experience, someone might actually need that mentorship, that thing, that tricks or that tips. It will actually help somebody. And we've seen those that they've not even earned a single dollars on Upwork, and they're also here advising people. So I think my advice for people will be like, we have a lot of amazing content creators out here trying to come out and educate us. And that's why I'm so happy that three of us were able to come together and share our experience. But whenever you want to listen to advice, just try to understand who you are following. I think it's very, very important as well because we have so many wrong information flying around these days. And that's why our integrity also matters as a content creator. Whenever you want to advise people, we always want to ensure that yes, we are giving facts, or can I say the true information. And that's what actually connected me with you guys because I was like, oh, I think these people are amazing, these people are amazing. And that's why I was able to reach out to you like, hey, Queen and Kings, can we just do this together? And I appreciate the fact that both of you accepted me for who I am. And I really, really appreciate. And it's not something that I'm going to take for granted. And I love it and I appreciate. I can't, I don't know how to express my, can I say, my joy having you guys here. And I appreciate you guys. God bless you. And guys, any question for my amazing people before they run away? Let evangelist, anything for us. I love to hear you talk.
Well, I just remembered something. I think that was some.
Yeah, sorry. Alice the Turkey Chef, thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming around. Favor, you know Alice the Turkey Chef, right? Our remote work party. Oh, thank you so very much, Alice. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. If
Yeah,
you're sorry, I'm so sorry.
something I remembered. So there was, I think that was 2022 or 2020. There was this guy that used to that put out a flyer, and the flyer stated that he was going to be teaching people how to make 100k, 100,000 naira consistently on Upwork every month. And
Hmm.
my my then girlfriend, now wife, was like, look at this guy, look at this. I'm like, anyone who is consistently, the word here consistently making this kind of money, like, do not have the time to teach people how to make. No one will
Hmm.
promise you consistency on Upwork. No one. So if anyone is putting out a flyer and telling you that they will teach you how to make, she didn't believe it. She was like, no. So, and because I could find people easily on Upwork, I looked for his name, and I went to Upwork to then search. As of
Am I
then,
the only one that is not hearing Ife very well? Like the echo, like the breeze or something.
so hold on.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
give me a moment. Let me use my mic.
Yeah.
It's fine. So this guy, so I went to check, look him up, and as of that time, I was very interested in how it was going to. And I mean, thinking about it right now in retrospect, from his end, I think he was just being, the Lulu is the Solulu, and it was. So I checked, and he's only made $20, and he's been on Upwork back then for I think a year or 2 years. So he makes most of his own money, deceiving people that it would teach them.
People.
So what I so it would collect money from people, tell them, help them optimize their Upwork account, and I'm like, people are gullible, obviously, but then I don't blame them because you don't know that you can really easily just look this guy up yourself on the platform, and there are
Yes.
lots of people like that.
Yes.
Like there are lots of people like that,
Someone have reached
and
out to me recently, like she's a top rated freelancer on Upwork, and when I look her up, not even a single dollars on Upwork. And she wanted to train people on how to be a virtual assistant.
so for me, when I started my content on TikTok was not even centered around freelancing. I promise you, it was basically around data and all of those things. But one of the complaints that I got the most was, "Oh, I've learned data analysis. I've started my journey as a data analyst, but there's no job." I was just pissed that I was on this seat, and I'm like, come on, you don't need to wait for a 9 to 5 job. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand.
Hmm.
I graduated in 2018, and I didn't get my first 9 to 5 job until 2022.
Hmm.
So imagine waiting for a 9 to 5. one thing that I did was started out as a freelancer, and all those freelancing experiences helped me to then land a 9 to 5. That was a very fantastic one. So so that day I was just saying, see, you don't need to wait for a 9 to 5. See, I have an Upwork account. See my Upwork account. I didn't know what I was doing. Then the post then blew up. On that post, I think about 2,000 or 3,000 people followed me just on
Wow.
that video. I'm like, oh, this is a
Yeah.
big struggle. And so I then
Mm-hmm.
decided to then create more freelancing content and see if you're in school, whatever it is, don't worry, just get started. When I started freelancing, another thing I didn't say is that you'll be willing to do most of the things for free. I started writing for $1 per article, 500 words in 2015. Dollar was not this lucrative then. No. $1
Hmm.
was 165 naira.
Ooh.
Yep. So the money I
More.
would spend to even to write one article, because of course I don't like writing, it stresses me, so I will eat, I will do all of those things. It was more than what I was being paid, but I was happy that for me it was fascinating to be able to work, because think picture what 2014 2015 looked like
Looks
from a
like.
technology standpoint. It was very
Hmm.
uncommon to work remotely or work for someone, not to talk of working for someone outside of your country. So for me, it was so amazing that then we didn't even have all these payment methods. So another struggle was after you made all this money,
Payment method.
how do you withdraw your money?
Hmm.
That's another struggle that people right now.
Yes.
So I think it's easier now. I
Now
know
that
that Favor will want to disagree with me, but I think the freelancing space is easier now than it used to be, because even when you've done all this work to withdraw the money, PayPal was not working.
What's
Yet.
the
PayPal is like
problem?
the oldest payment
Yes.
method.
Yes.
It's not working
paper
in
wasn't.
Nigeria. Payoneer, for you to get a Payoneer card, our addressing system in Nigeria is terrible. So you can sign up for Payoneer, meet all the requirements. They will send your card. It will get missing on the way. So most people don't get their Payoneer card. That's like the only alternative. Every other method is just was a struggle. So my first withdrawal that I made from freelancer.com, I had to I had to create a project for my friend who then had his payment method. It was through him I was able to withdraw my money. So I had to then
Hmm.
create a project for him, pay him all of those money,
Hmm.
so that it will
Hmm.
be as though I've hired him. Then
Hmm.
the freelancer then charged me. So on $200 that my first withdrawal, how much did I get at the end of the day? 20,000 naira, $200. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. But it was good. I didn't mind. So I would say, now you have all these fintechs. You can literally use Gray or what's this,
Yeah, so many things.
withdraw your money
Clever. So many
almost
things out
in
there.
fact, when Upwork was even good. You can then withdraw your money directly to your Naira. Because I remember the first $45 I made on Upwork in 2017, I withdrew it to my Naira account, but the rate was very shitty. If you use
Very, very
Naira,
bullshit.
it's almost like half of the current rate.
Yes. I don't do
So
it. Ah, God. That's waste of money.
it's waste of money. So
Yeah. Oh my
I would just
God.
say, if I believe that everyone should try out freelancing. In the Western world, it's a common thing. People, lots of side hustles, and you can do it for the fun of it. And even if you're not going to work as a freelancer, you can sign up as a client. You don't. There are times that I
Mm.
have things that I want to do, takes me time. I hire people to do it for me. I'm looking for someone that can help me rewrite my CV, and I'm still yet to decide. I probably will then post that on Upwork. Get someone to,
And of
not
course,
because I need it, but I just want to. I'm always looking for the next thing. I'm quite comfortable where I am. I have a good job. If I'm not complaining, but then you have to be proactive. Always choosing yourself first. Yeah.
yeah,
So
regarding, yeah, I need to add some. Okay, go ahead, Siva.
no, no, no. I just wanted to talk about the when he emphasized like he thinks that people should try freelancing at some point.
Mm.
In general, I've probably been product managing for like 4 years, and officially I've been product managing for like 3 years. But the knowledge, the experience that I've gotten from freelancing, somebody can say like, oh yeah, this one has been in the business for a while, but I haven't. But that's something that freelancing has afforded me because it has thrown me into like different industries. Before I would say
Mm.
like, oh, I've mostly worked with fintech and SaaS. But now I can say I've worked with insurance technology. I've worked with digital marketing agencies as a product manager, which I didn't think was possible. Now I
Mm.
can say like I've worked with other industries that sometimes when I want to put it in my CV, since I'm looking for full-time work, I feel like the recruiters will come and ask me, how? What were you doing? Like how are you able to do all of this? You know?
All those
So I
things,
think
yeah.
yes, I do agree that at some point in our lives or in your lives, you should try freelancing. It really it challenges you to be better. It challenges you to grow in your career. So yes, I just wanted to say that.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you so very much. And one thing I'm going to add to it, or can I say a few things I'm going to add to it is, let me start with what data evangelist said the other time about someone that is promising you like a constant money on Upwork, like they will teach you how to do this on Upwork, they will teach you. I think it's actually not their fault, to be fair, because some people are very eager to start on Upwork today and start making that money on Upwork like right away. People have come to my DM and said, "Oh, work from home, mom. Please, can you help me get a job on Upwork? I don't mind paying you commission." They've said that to me several times. And I train people on how to be a virtual assistant, even Upwork, and they'll be like, if I pay you today, 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 will I be able to get jobs like immediately? There are some messages that I will just ignore for my own sanity because I know that if I respond to you, I'll be in trouble. Like people ask ridiculous questions. So if those kind of people see someone that that is lying to them, they will pay. They don't even mind taking loan. That loan that they should take to go and buy connect on Upwork, they'll give to that person. But you see people coming out to tell them the truth, like, oh my god, this is what this thing looks like. They won't believe. They are looking for that get rich quick scheme. So those are the type of people that will fall victim. Before I can even buy anything, this Upwork is just like, oh, can I say this TikTok? Don't let me even use Upwork now. Before you can even say, oh, data evangelist, please come and teach me data analysis, or favor, come and teach me about Upwork, or come and teach me about product management. You must have made your research about this person. I've bought a lot of things on TikTok. The first thing I want to do is I want to see your page. What is it all about? Can I trust you? Because some people will just come online and just sugarcoat things and you just fall for it. I know you can't be smart than those that actually want to scam you, whatever. But if you are being careful, we actually see all the red flags and we can actually run away from it. So as a newbie, if you see somebody promising you a get rich quick path, be very, very careful. Like just be very, very careful. To see that skills that you have, just get better at it. The point in which you are waiting for a client to hire you, just get better. Because I always say something, it is not even getting the job that is hard though. If it is keeping that job.
Yep.
Because if you are not good at what you do, you won't last in that industry. Because all these foreigners, they don't care. It is Nigerian that you use Jesus, you use Anobi and Ogu to beg people. You can't use it to beg them there. You fuck up, they send you out. No one cares. Go and get better at your skills. As you are getting
It's
better, keep applying. Whatever I'm listening, like it's just
no, like it's and this is because it's just reminding me like because I have a video. Like what I do typically is that I will binge create content. I just haven't in the last 2 weeks because like personally I've just been questioning a lot of things. And one thing I've come to realize with a lot of Nigerians is that nobody wants to learn. Nobody wants to be a beginner at anything. They want to start today, get a skill today, make
get
millions
money the
today.
next day.
My first salary, because like, okay, I did school in Nigeria. So I schooled
Hmm.
abroad. And then I came back and my first salary was at 19,800 naira from
Oh my god.
NYC. And then I was doing that and I was doing like the place where I was studying. That's where they were paying me, I think, 25K or so. And even then, because I was in Lagos, it was really hard for me to survive. I squandered my entire savings trying to live my life in Lagos. And I was like, no, I'm coming back home. And then I just came back home. So my point here is that Nigerians don't want to learn. Sometimes I am tempted to say, let me put my salary projection over the years and post it as a content so that people understand that it's not that I come that I come here, I put ring light and I make video and everything and I talk about this. It's not like, oh, there are some millions sleeping or I made this. It's that when you show up, when you do the right thing, when you do it consistently and you see the growth, it's almost like you're inspired to, when you see people doing mediocre things, it's almost like you're inspired to say, look, you can get this right, right? Like you can get this right. There are so many pages that, in fact, there's somebody I blocked on here on TikTok. I'm
Why?
telling you, I'm not going to say her name or anything,
Yeah, sure, sure.
but I think she does project management or so. And every time her video pops up, I don't like, there's no value. And I said, okay, you know what? I will buy it. And I went on LinkedIn and I checked her LinkedIn page. And she had just gotten that project management certificate like 3 months prior and had not gotten a job. In fact, her first job after getting the certificate was to create a project management community where she now hosts paid webinars and all of that. And so I got so frustrated because I told myself, like, if I continue to see these girls post, one day I will not know and I will comment and be like, you fraud. But
Yes, yes, yes,
but
yes.
I'm not going to do that. So I
Yeah,
blocked her
I
for my
get it.
sanity. And it's like, why don't you want to go through that learning curve, through that process? Why don't you want to do that? Why do you want to make this money this quick? Like,
Quick.
I know for a fact, 100%, that this person has not gotten a job since completing
Oh,
that project management course. But out here, you have positioned yourself as an expert.
that is the
You're not
problem,
even an
favor.
intermediate. You position yourself as an expert, not just any expert that is hosting webinars and doing one-on-one consultation. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, you are consulting for newbie project managers. And I'm sorry, to tell them what? You
Hmm,
have no experience. Like, what builds
hmm.
you as an expert anything is the number of projects that you have done and failed and learned from.
From
It's the fact that you
yes,
can be sleeping and they can wake you up and you'll be like, oh, that's the, like a junior PM can wake you up and you'll be like, oh, that problem you're having, this is how to solve it. That's what
hmm.
makes you an expert.
An
If you've
expert.
never worked on any project whatsoever, you've never done any, I'm sorry, what are you like? Who? I'm,
You're not even a beginner. You are a novice. You are not even a beginner. You are a novice. I've seen people completed their virtual assistant training. You'll see their journey. Like I just completed my training at this particular this thing, and the next you see is I'm hosting a community where I'll be training virtual assistant. Friend,
sometimes
what?
I'm
Oh,
even
I
saying,
calm down now.
sometimes I'm like, do Nigerians not go to? That's why sometimes when people come and tell me, like somebody has come to tell me, like, oh, I want to, I say, see, you know what? I have a LinkedIn page for a reason. I have an Upwork page that is private. My earnings are not even private. Some people put their earnings up. My earnings are public because I'm not out here doing cho. You can go and you can see that I have
There's
done the
evidence.
work. I have done the work. You can see the reviews from clients. You can see my work history, 95 on LinkedIn. So when these people come on your FYP and you see people telling you, oh, I made 100 million today. I made this. I made this. I did that. Do you take, I'm like, this takes me to digital literacy. Do you take 1 minute of your time to say, you know what? Let me just check you out, you know?
Mm,
Let me go and
mm.
check you out here. Let me see if you are worth all that hype. And then you realize that it is nothing, just empty drum
Just
making
empty.
noise. And
Just it.
anyways, I blocked
Honestly.
them for my sanity. Honestly, I
You
blocked them
really
for
you
my
really
sanity.
really need it. You really need it. Like
Oh my god.
we have a lot of them out here. So when you see real, you know real, and when you see like you can't just come here and say you want to teach me how to make 500,000 naira per week. If it is easy, you won't even come here and tell people now. You could have
You
just
should be
dragged
in
your family members.
Santorini. You'll be on
Yeah.
Dubai on a yacht, shaking your bum. Like, why are you here?
Oh,
Like, you
Ife.
should
Oh, we put
be
Ife in
you'll
the
be
middle.
taking
We
away
actually
and
put
like
Ife in the
Maddi.
middle.
I'm lost. What
Data
are you
evangelist,
doing?
don't mind favor. I'm just enjoying this. Don't mind Ife.
No, I share in your, I actually share in that, and I think one thing that makes it interesting for me was the feedback that I got from the guy that I met in London yesterday, and it was like, he said, this guy has taken. Yeah, he used a particular expression. I can't remember because boot camp is a thing in the UK here where people pay heavily for boot camps. And as soon as he was telling me, I'm like, YouTube is there. Just you can practically learn anything from YouTube. You don't need to pay anyone for anything. And I was like, this guy is spoiling business for people there. I'm like, no, because for me,
People can't hear
reality
you.
is,
Yeah? Like me, I can hear you, but your voice is low. So like,
I don't know. So I mean, again, I was saying that I share in the sentiments, generally speaking. But then, just to excuse those people, right? I'm trying. So sometimes I don't. The reason why I don't judge people straight up is because I try to think for them. Sometimes I try to give them reasons why they are doing what they are doing. Sometimes it can be fake it till you make it, right?
mm,
Sometimes it can be calling things that are not as though they were. I mean, I genuinely believe that, again, some people overdo it. I
mm,
think if I encourage people to, if you want to be a project manager, for example, a product manager, I think the first step to that is to start to see yourself as a product manager.
mm,
So, to a large extent, it's okay to. So when people that are following me around, my data people that follow me, one of the things I'm correcting in them is how I see the way some of them create content, and um, the content usually go like this: my journey to into learning. It's not
data
bad. If
analysis.
that was
Mm,
2020, if it was 2020, the reality is the job market is brutal. Nobody wants a newbie. Again, I'm
mm,
not. I'm just. You just have to be smart. If
mm,
your content, if the way you put yourself out there is projecting, I'm a newbie, then you will take a long time to get there.
mm,
But we are Nigerians. Let's be really honest. We can do anything. We are strong. If we get into real situation, we always adapt, we always adjust. So it's
mm.
okay to, again, this is not me encouraging people who do those stuff, right? But there should be a kind of
A
healthy
limit.
balance, right?
So
Mm,
like
Between,
I will speak on your like fake it till you make it. And I'm saying this
yeah.
because like when it comes to this kind of content you're saying, even if somebody is a beginner, and I will use project management and I will use like UX design because these are careers that are visible to give you an idea of content to create. Most times people do this because when you have people coming to teach you like how to position yourself online and how to make yourself visible online as somebody who offers this service, they don't really tell you how. So, and you find a lot of people just go on ChatGPT and say, "This is what I'm doing. Give me content ideas." And ChatGPT has almost the same type of list. That's why you see almost
Mm,
the same type of content. But then
mm,
when you sit down and ask yourself, as a beginner, what would I rather have had? Like, what would I rather have seen online that would have made me, stay on this path? You can be a beginner and be learning, but you realize that every day you learn something new. Let's
mm,
take Excel for instance. If maybe today what you learned on Excel is how to do the summation formula, it's something you can come on TikTok and say, oh, did you know that if you put this figure in cell A and in cell B and you say equals to, it will give you a this. You are teaching, but you're still not positioning yourself as an expert because you are not. If it is project management and you've learned a new way to create a list on ClickUp or to create a dashboard on Jira, you can come and say, see how I created this dashboard, see how I created. In fact, what you even find is that you will even see other experts telling you, do you know that if you had even done this, you would have gotten this.
mm.
You're still positioning yourself as a beginner, but you're not outright saying as a newbie this.
You are not a
You're
novice.
Yes, you're still sharing value, and you have not said, oh, I'm an expert with 100 years. Or if you're a UX UI designer, you can come and say, see my thought process through creating a UI design for a fintech app, right? There's no fintech app that is live with that design, but you have still shown your design work. So my point here is you can still show up online, make yourself visible as somebody who is offering that skill, that service. You can do that, and you will still not be able to position yourself as an expert. You will still be able to position yourself as somebody that says like, oh, if you need this service, you can hire me for it, without calling yourself a newbie outrightly, and without making people think that you have this number of years of experience and you can lead them. That is the blind following the blind. You've not finished leading yourself. Like, where do you want to
You
lead
want to
other
lead
people to?
people
Do you understand? So if I like to add to that, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm a newbie," this there are better ways to go
to go
about
about it.
posting content and showing value in your work.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to add to that favor. Yesterday, I was live yesterday and I was talking to people about personal branding. Like, I was telling them, as a customer support, let me even put it that way, who are you trying to attract with your social media? If you are looking for clients, then your content should focus on that client. You can come online and be like, are you a CEO struggling with email management, your email pile? We can actually do this, just do that to actually clear this. You are targeting clients. When they see that you are creating value, they are seeing value in what you do. You won't even apply to just the video want to be like, I think I love your content. Can you help us in our business? And as you are
Yeah.
attracting them, some other new can I say your colleague that are newbies is also learning from you. You've not even your faith is not even very strong. You want to carry somebody, you want to back someone. I see it as can I say you exploiting another person. Honestly, honestly, even if you just have just 1 year of experience or 2 years, you can say you want to monetize your skills. But the fact that you don't have any experience, see, the only time you can come out and say, oh, you have experience, if you have used that skills to work for someone, you failed, like you fall, you start up again, you've done everything. That's what makes you an expert in your field. Then people can learn from your journey. People can learn from your mistakes. That's what makes you an expert. But when you come here and you're saying you're an expert and there is no evidence, that's when the problem comes in. There's a way you can actually
The thing
position
is, like,
yourself.
I think someone wants
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
investigate me. I think someone wants to investigate
no,
me
I
on
was going to
Upwork.
say like it's because there's always
They're
some
asking me what's my
ulterior
name on
motive.
Upwork.
Yeah, they've been asking that question a
They
lot.
are not.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, come on,
It's
Firos. Go
because
My
ahead.
like
name
I
is
feel like it's
Ifeolu
because
Afaleye
there's
everywhere.
always an
Sorry.
ulterior. No, go ahead, please.
They're just My name is
No, they're just
Ifeolu
asking
Afaleye
about his name.
Oh,
everywhere.
okay.
LinkedIn,
So I was
practically.
just going to say like the
Go on.
reason why like you get this is because there is ulterior motive. They are not really wanting to teach you anything. They are using you as a lead generation scheme. The idea is
Mm,
to make so much noise and get people who are willing to pay for these classes or for these things, because a lot of people genuinely think that content creation is a really smooth path to making this much money off of people's ignorance. So I hope like really our advices fall on the ears of people who really want to learn, who want to grow in their career, and who are willing to do the work to show value, and not people, because the truth is like, to add to what you said among me, when people are doing this same thing that we're talking about, you will still find people who think that you are a heaven and earth and they want to learn from you, and if you charge them money they will pay you. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that you're going to get clients that are going to still come to you, because your content is tailored towards showing clients that you have a solution to the problem that they have
to their
and giving
problem.
value.
Mm.
Yes. So
Honestly,
I think this is
yeah,
the
that's
most I
that's a
have
lot.
talked in like, I feel like this is the most I've talked in like 2 weeks. I don't think I've been talking for a while.
I totally understand, and thank you so very much, guys. Oh my god, our time is up. This 250, and that's a lot. So, guys, thank you so very much for coming around today to share your experience. We really, really learned a lot, and it's such a powerful one. I've not think I've generated a traffic like this before, so that shows how powerful this section is for me and also for virtual assistant newbies. So, thank you so much, everybody. Please connect with Ifeoluwa and connect with Favor because they are the expert that you guys need to actually kickstart your journey on Upwork. or as a data analyst or as a product manager. So thank you so much, everybody, and I'll see you. Thank you so much, data evangelist, and thank you, Faye.
No
I love
problem.
you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye, guys. Oh my
Bye.
god, that's a
Bye
lot.
bye.
Thank you
Yeah.
so very much. Bye. Oh my god, that's a lot. Damn. I'm just so happy, guys. That's a lot. Guys, we're back. Like, we are back. We are back. Oh, Alice, how are you? Alice, come on. How are you? I just sent you a request. Alice, don't go. Alice, don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Alice, don't go. I just sent you a request. Can you click on accept? Oh my god, I'm not sure she's there again. Oh my god, I just sent her a request. Yeah, I invited her, but yeah, it was so impactful, so impactful, guys. And I'm so happy that they are here to actually share their experience on how they've been able to make it work on Upwork. So if you're the type that you're frustrated that Upwork is not working for you, these are successful people on Upwork that have, came out today to actually share that experience. So guys, I'll actually advise you to actually go back to your Upwork, go back to your drawing board, and ensure that you give it your best. Don't let the connect of a thing scare you away. Don't let the connect of a thing scare you away, because if you are running away from it, other people are running away from it. Who is actually going to get that job that you guys are running away from? So, guys, that is it for me. I also have amazing content on my YouTube channel about Upwork, or here on my TikTok channel. You can actually check them out. And also, our April cohort virtual assistant training commences April 14th. So, if you're yet to enroll, you actually want to do that right now. And, guys, I'll see you some other time. It's been a lot today, and I appreciate the support. Like, you guys came out in numbers, and I really appreciate, and I love you so much. Remember, I will never take your love for granted. And I'll see you some other time. I'm coming again with a powerful webinar. You guys, we have a lot this April. Yeah. Your content on YouTube is great. Digital Empire, thank you so much. I saw your comment as well. Thank you so very much. Thank you, guys. And I'll see you some other time. Bye. I love you. Bye. Oh my god.